1.
Let's go!
This show fucking stinks, and the fact that you listen, we are very, very thankful for it.
AJ, never cease to amaze me with your toxicity, pal.
You got a couple of these?
God damn it!
What the fuck are you doing?
Boston
Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to our humble abode, the Thunderdome, on this Masters Thursday, April 6th, 2023. The sports program starts now.
Augusta!
Georgia is the host of the 89th Masters Golf Tournament, Masters of Golf Tournament, taking place right now at masters.com. That's the only place you can watch it. That's the only place you can see Tiger Woods in action.
What?
That's the only place you can see. Got a hat.
Nice. How we do?
You can see this hat in a couple of different places. Not at the merch store, currently at the Masters tournament, but you understand what I'm saying. A little bit of a good, it is awesome what this Masters tournament does for the entire world pretty much. And I started looking into it a little bit. They have international TV deals, obviously, and I think they're up maybe I don't know how the deals work, but they're everywhere. This is a tournament that at one point was an actual point event for like the Japanese golf tour, the European golf tour, the PGA tour, everything, and it was invitation only. So literally the world's greatest golfers would travel to Augusta, Georgia, a place that I don't think would ever have any visitors if it was not for the Masters. No offense to Augusta, Georgia. It has obviously been built up in a beautiful place and all of that, but it takes over everything. Everybody's talking about the Masters right now. We started thinking about what are we going to talk about today? And there's obviously some stories coming out of the Cam Newton camp and the Cam Newton YouTube, where he has agreed to be a backup for quarterbacks in the NFL, and he listed them out. Some of them haven't even really played football in the NFL. He said, I'll be a backup to them. Very humble sounding Cam Newton. We'll talk about that for sure. There's more Lamar Jackson conversation that could be had. Michael Lombardi will be joining us, former general manager in the NFL and advisor in the NFL, and he's a Super Bowl champion and everything like that. I assume we're just going to talk about the Masters with him.
Yeah, probably.
I assume that's going to be the case. And then here in about 25 minutes or so, we're having our first ever conversation with Chris Solomon, Solly, from the No Laying Up podcast.
Sure.
We put out a little tweet bird call this morning and said, hey, our golf Rolodex, not that thick. We do have the Tour Junkies folks that come on Hammer Dahn with Tone Diggs and Gumpy in them, but they were on a flight, didn't get our text or our call whenever we were looking out. And the show's about to start. We need a golf person to come on the program on this Masters Thursday. I started looking into this Chris Solomon guy. This dude's awesome.
Beast.
Hey, this is a cool group of dudes over there at the No Laying Up podcast. Very thankful that Chris is going to make time for us today. And then we'll be answering some phone calls on the 5-hour Energy phone line. 1-833-433-3663. 1-833-4-DOME. Should be a good one. A lot of shit to talk about. There's stuff going on with the Arizona Cardinals operation. Tyreek Hill basically gave an expiration date on his career.
Wild.
We've learned a lot of things, and we'll be talking about it all. The Toxic Table's here at Boston Connor, at Ty Schmidt. Ty, the John Deere fit for Masters. You look fantastic, pal.
I appreciate it. Yeah, you know, at this point of the year, I just kind of feel like some people have maybe forgot that nothing runs like a deer. And I saw it today, and I just said, you know what, fuck it. I'm gonna put this on. Weather's beautiful out there. We're probably gonna see several deers rolling up and down the fairways at Augusta. It just, it's a spring fit. Today, I mean, it kind of feels like spring has sprung a little bit. The weather down there is beautiful, but yeah, it just every once in a while you kind of get the feel that, hey, maybe people have forgot that nothing runs like a deer. So I'm just here to kind of remind everybody.
I think that is an Iowa mindset. I'm from Pittsburgh. I don't know if I've ever woke up and been like, you know what? Feels like motherfuckers forgot.
Yeah,
that
exactly.
John Deere. So I'm happy that you're out there doing it, especially because when you turn on this golf tournament, the grass is so great. People walking the course. Also on stage with us, a man who has a locker in the Thunderdome, member of the team. Lucky for it because he's a 14-year NFL corner. Ladies and gentlemen, Pac-Man Jones. Pac, it's hard not to just talk about the Masters when it's happening. It feels like the whole world stops for it.
I totally agree. Look at that, man. It's a lot of money right there.
There's a lot of money on that.
A lot of money right there. Unbelievable event. Can't wait to get out there. I need to.
You're gonna go. Listen, that would be a golf dream, I do believe, for a lot of people, right? To get a chance to get out there and golf at Augusta National, right? To get a chance to get out there and golf at Augusta National.
Oh,
You
once
don't
in a
get a
lifetime.
chance to kind of go play down there.
Yeah.
That is, whoa, no.
No.
It
Slow
is
down.
let's not get it.
Definitely on your bucket list.
You have
for
never
sure.
heard me say it, but if you were to play on that course, I think you'd be pretty pumped up about it. You start doing some history on the whole thing, and they obviously Eisenhower, who pretty
Dwight.
notable name here in the United States of America, had a residence there. I believe there's still some of his booze on the property
Is
that
that he
right?
potentially drank.
Dwight's
old
Yeah,
booze.
yeah, and this is Bobby Jones and Clifford Roberts are the two founders of Augusta Golf.
Cliff.
Bobby Jones was an absolute dog. Cliff Roberts, I do believe, was a member of Eisenhower's financial council whenever he was in power. So it runs deep. The history does. It's a beautiful place. We'll keep everybody updated as it's going. Tiger Woods, he was tied for 25th before we went live.
He's not tied.
Yeah,
for
rough
25th.
start.
Yeah, he's
Tied.
plus
Yeah.
3 now, I
He's plus
believe.
3 now.
He's
Yeah.
in and out. He keep cupping everything. Goes in, comes right back out.
Made the cut 22 straight times. I believe 21 straight times. Let's hope.
I was just told that we had an audio issue. I don't know what people couldn't hear us whenever we started. It was mismatched with the mouth. Oh, so we sounded like a lip dubbed show.
Oh, like a glitch.
Let's see if it gets back into it. Problem.
Hell yeah.
What's that?
You would hope that would get figured out.
That's a
I think that's the thing about our show.
pretty big deal with YouTube shows.
Hard to watch it all without seeing the sound at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, if you're watching something
You might
TV, you're
be
changing the channel.
Because very annoying to kind of not be able to read the non-communication happening.
really.
Yeah, you got it.
Yep.
Nothing
All
more
right, so
true.
allegedly we're back. I have no idea how that happens, but it's been an incredible start to the Masters. I believe Hovland is doing
Yep.
pretty good. Shoffley buried some putts.
Hovland is
Tiger
currently
Woods is starting a little rough. John Rahm had 4 putts on the first hole to kind of start off slowly. Who's the leader right now, Tone?
Tom Young, I believe he came second last year in the Cam Smith, Rory, and him duel at the Open. That's where he's young on the tour.
Cam Young, not just last name, actuality of his age, sponsored by Major League Baseball.
That's
Yeah.
right.
So cool.
Growing up, Rob Manfred, who is the commissioner of the MLB, was in the same golf club as him. So when he turned pro, they agreed the MLB would be one of his first sponsors. So now he gets free tickets to any baseball park in the country.
That's right.
And he's leading the Masters, and right on his fucking arm, it says MLB. Good for Major League Baseball.
Yeah, not bad.
MLB's having not a bad week.
Yeah, not bad at all.
Changing the rules to make it a little bit more entertaining and exciting. The World Baseball Classic leading into the league. And then Mike Greenberg comes on this show. He's like, Rob Manfred single-handedly made the
Genius.
game better. This
Yeah.
guy is a genius.
Give him his
and then now,
flowers.
bang, the leader at the Masters has MLB. Hey, they're on top of the world right now.
They are.
Baseball
They
has
are.
never been more back.
Good for baseball. You guys are getting seen whenever golf is taking place on the biggest stage. That's a real deal. We'll keep everybody updated as it continues to roll. At masters.com is where you can watch it from now until
3 p.m.
3 p.m. And then Scott Van Pelt picks up the coverage on ESPN. And then I believe ESPN has tomorrow, or is it the same way as this?
Same 3 to 7 tomorrow. I believe the same schedule. And then CBS, I believe, with Jim Nantz, picks it up on the weekend if I'm not.
They got to be making so much money off their website.
Oh my God.
Absurd.
Have to be just mandatory. Have to go to our website to do it. And everybody's like, yeah, you're right. That's smart. We will.
Yeah, I wonder how many
You
sponsors.
got it.
And they don't
Ridiculous.
charge anything for the app either, which is crazy because I think people download it today and then delete it after the tournament's over on Sunday. Like if they charged $4.99 or whatever, everyone would still buy it. It's the viewing experience. You can pick whoever you want to watch on there. On the TV copy, it's just kind of whoever they're showing you. If there's a guy you want to watch, you can watch his entire round on the website.
The feature groups one is always good. I mean, Tiger going out with anybody is going to be watched, but both guys he was golfing with were playing well early. So that's obviously good for viewership on the app. John Rahm is going to be a name that people are going to watch. He just lined up for a long birdie putt, rolls it by. Was that with the grain or against the grain? That'll be a question that
Sure.
he will have to be asking throughout the weekend. Let's talk about some stuff going on around the NFL. Cam Newton, on his YouTube page, basically listed off every team that he'd be willing to be a backup quarterback for.
Okay.
I don't know if he expected to do that in the particular program, but it is him coming out and saying, like, everybody who might have questions on whether or not I could be a backup quarterback or would want to be a backup quarterback, because Cam Newton is like a type A personality, obviously has had a lot of success, and people gravitate to him. So it could be tough to kind of have that transition of power to being the backup with the entire locker room, as opposed to being the starter where everybody is kind of, looking to you for the answers. Here's Cam Newton at his youtube.com/Cam Newton. I don't know what the show is called, but I do know the backdrop fucking sweet.
Yeah.
And the hat is electrifying. Here's Cam Newton at his YouTube page addressing the topic of being a backup quarterback.
I know a lot of people have a lot of things to say in regards to my future in the NFL, and I wanted to set the record straight by saying this is how I feel. There ain't 32 guys that's better than me, but I also know that I could also be a backup, and I'm willing to be a backup. Players that I will back up.
Here we go.
Number one, I'll back up Deshaun Watson. It goes without saying, me and Deshaun Watson's relationship, he was on my 707 All-Star team. I've grown to admire the person, the athlete that he is, going through a lot of turmoil, but I believe that doesn't.
I don't know if this is.
That's behind him.
Okay.
My number
Yeah,
two
you might
person
think
will be
that.
wherever
Normally the music
Lamar
they play
Jackson
is
decides to go. Number three will be Justin Fields, another C1N product. Number four will be Tua Tagovailoa.
Mike White, but
Number five will be Malik Willis, another C1N.
He's not the starter.
All-star.
He's young, though. He's back up.
Yeah.
That's
And
a big
I
deal.
would say there's three rookie quarterbacks that I would love or enjoy to groom. Any of these rookie quarterbacks, CJ Stroud, Bryce Young, and Anthony Richardson.
Okay.
Any one of those guys, I would be happy.
Will
with that.
Levis.
Why not Will Levis?
Yeah.
One of those guys.
Number
are going to
7, Jalen Hurts. Number 8 would be Aaron Rodgers.
Hell yeah.
Of course.
Number 9 would be Josh Allen.
Makes sense.
And number 10 would be Sam Howell, another C1N
Over there with Ron.
alumni.
How?
But when you think about the list, it's really to the point. Now, some of those guys may already have penciled in backups that the franchise is probably okay with, and that's fine. I'm just voicing my opinion.
Okay.
And I'm just getting the narrative out.
Okay. All right.
All right, Cam.
Okay. There's a couple in there that obviously drew some reaction from the room immediately upon saying it. But we have to remember that he is Cam Newton. This is a massive step for him to take publicly, I think, personally. I do also like that he said another CYN.
Yep.
Yeah, the league that we kind of put together. Yep, we got a bunch of guys in the pros right now. Would love to work with them. He talked about grooming, which is a fascinating word because I wonder if places would be like, yeah, we want our guys to be like that. Fascinating kind of proposition out there. Pac-Man, you were going to say something in the middle. He was not yet done with the whole list. We want to make sure we got that entire thing out there, especially we like the fact if Cam Newton's going to continue to make iconic
Saga.
productions. He has a great content.
Unreal.
He makes great content. So I'm happy that happened, and shout to him for that. What were you going to talk about though?
I was going to say this big news. I'm proud of Cam for putting this out. Like the big word of the day, put your pride to the side and let's ride. Like if you really want to play, he say he still want to play. Obviously, we can tell that he still want to play. The guys that he named, a lot of those guys he do have relationships with. I love the Carolina. Carolina is picking one of these quarterbacks real early. I think he can groom and one of those guys that go there. And he already have a relationship there with the owner. And he came out and said public like he don't mind being a backup.
Yeah,
and I like
deal.
Cleveland. I like Cleveland. He fit that scheme. I think he can be a good backup there too. But I like this. This shows us that Cam really want to play football. He putting his fucking pride to the side and saying, hey, I want to play football. I'm not trying to be a distraction. I don't mind being a number 2.
Distraction.
So yeah, distraction.
That was pretty good.
Hell yeah.
That's all.
I was actually excited to see how you would work it in the middle of a word. And you did it impeccably, obviously. And I like that. You're right. This is massive news because as soon as we heard he was throwing at Auburn again, and then he said that there ain't 32 motherfuckers better than me, we're like, all right, so Cam is going to have to be a starter if he goes to a place in his mind. And I assume a lot of places assume that that would be the only way to get a deal done. Now he kind of at least opens up a convo for a team to think about. Okay, like, hey, you know what he said about the little promo he cut for Deshaun, I think that's immediately going to get some people to stop listening, you know? I think just because, not because of Cam, but because of everything that happened that was very real, very serious in that particular department. But to his point, great
attitude the entire time. But you've talked about backup quarterback jobs before. Like, it's not just like, okay, yeah, you're there to maybe come in if the main guy gets hurt. Like, there's a lot of stuff that goes with it, with breaking down film, with doing all those things. And I don't know, has he ever really done that for an entire season before? Like, is that something where, hey, yeah, you're a great quarterback. You could probably come in and be very serviceable, and you probably are one of the top 64 if we're going 1 and 2 in the league. But also, if you've never done that whole entire backup role, can you also do all those things that go with it?
I think the big question is, what is his throwing motion?
Yeah, sure.
Like, we can all see, you know, like old Cam, new Cam. That shoulder thing that happened, I think had a lot of people worried. So that combine workout, big deal. Like, or the pro day workout the other day, big deal to see if the guy is back to throwing shape that he was before he potentially was playing at New England when he was missing some things. Because he had like that hitch in his, it was like a whoom, and then, you caught it. You had it. I knew you had it.
That boy packed.
10 and 10.
Throw the ball, Pack.
Good grab. Iowa Hawkeye, pen it down.
That was a hell of a catch.
Throw the ball.
Hey, that was a great catch out of you, though.
Hey,
you need to be proud of yourself.
It was a great football. But like Cam Newton mentioned, it was a pick six where he dove at the line, and he did he stretch out in his shoulder?
I think he landed. Did he land on it like this, or like I forget exactly what it was? Check ball game. Yeah, but like him throwing, the accuracy is going to be a big conversation. The speed, can he get it? Because there was a couple skippers there with New England. And to your point about being a backup quarterback, like you're running the, you know what I mean?
The second team.
It's a lot of throwing too.
That's a lot of throwing, like, but not
way more than the starting quarterback.
I think so too. Yeah. I got a chance to throw for a lot of those practices the first couple years of my career. I'm throwing a lot of balls, a lot of picks, but also you got to put them. Like, it's a lot of throwing, and it's like a lot of workout. You got to be able to make every single throw, though. Not saying that I was, but not saying that I was doing that everything. I was throwing a lot of picks whenever I was doing it. But you got to be talented to be a backup quarterback with the arm. Like, I think that is almost a necessity almost for every team, because whenever you're playing a quarterback the next week, that is, let's say you're playing Joe Burrow the next week, okay? Okay, so your backup quarterback or your third-string quarterback in practice every week is trying to be fucking Joe Burrow. Well, what does Joe Burrow have that everybody else doesn't? Well, he has an ability to read defense really good. Cool, we'll be able to give you cards. What else? Oh, he has pinpoint accuracy. So whenever you're fucking covering him on this particular thing, that's a completion. Like, that type of shit's a big deal. Not that every backup quarterback has the accuracy of somebody that is a starting quarterback, but having arm talent at that position is another factor in conversating about bringing somebody in your team who's been a starter, who could potentially, if your starter starts playing bad, this is not Cam's fault. Not Cam's fault at all. It's just who Cam is. If your starter starts playing bad, you do not need the New York Jets MetLife Stadium, the whole crowd cheering for Streveler and booing Zach Wilson the fuck out of there. I mean, it's a delicate balance to figure out who you're bringing into your quarterback room to be a backup, because they have to be serviceable all week. Not that Cam wouldn't be. I'm just saying that is a conversation. And also has to be an additive to everything. Nowhere near a distracting thing. And once again, that's not Cam's fault. It just could potentially be who Cam is at this point in life.
I was looking at the list, and I feel like the one that makes potentially the most sense is the Bears and Justin Fields, because I don't think that booing situation to bring Cam in would potentially happen with Justin Fields. And obviously they have a good relationship.
I was talking in the locker room. Like what you saw happen on the fans, like that type of thing happening in a locker room.
All the guys wearing the shirts while Zach Wilson's still there.
They're wearing like all that type of shit, though. Like I'm just saying, like not a lot of the fans as well, but also like the sideline being like, what are we doing? We got fucking Cam Newton here, you know, and like that's a tough thing to balance.
I know, but it does balance though, because you got to look at the teams and the different names that he said. It don't matter how bad Watson play, his ass is a backup. He got $230 million guaranteed.
Yeah,
all right, so that's not going to be a distraction. A-Rod, it don't matter how bad Aaron Rodgers is playing.
That's true.
Cam is going to be a fucking backup. Josh Allen.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how bad Josh Allen is playing. He's going to be a backup. Jalen Hurts. Doesn't matter how bad Jalen is playing. He's going to be a backup.
Agreed.
Tua. Still.
And then then that's a whole.
No.
He'd be third
Man,
string.
Tua had the best numbers out of
picked
all
Mike
these
White.
quarterbacks on the list.
They picked up Mike White. You pick up Mike White or Cam Newton if you're in the Miami Dolphins offense.
Yeah, 2 years.
In the Miami
$16
Dolphins offense. Not
Mike White.
Yeah, exactly. In the Miami Dolphins offense. No offense,
Mike
we're not
White.
saying Mike White will take over Cam Newton every single day, every single offense.
He got to fit a different offense.
But in that Miami offense, like Mike White almost like built for it. Not that he's not a mobile quarterback, but it's like Mike White
Accurate.
is a guy with the arm.
Also, like I know Cam said that like he's willing to be a backup, and like that's good. That's good to know. It's a nice like next step. But the first thing he still says is like there aren't 32 guys better than me. So if it gets to a point where he goes to a place and like the guy ahead of him maybe isn't playing well, but they're like, hey, we're sticking with him. Like, is he going to be okay with like still doing all the backup responsibilities when in his head he's thinking like, well, this is bullshit. Like I'm better than this guy. I should be playing.
And isn't it interesting? You always want your backup to prepare like a starter and have the mindset of a starter.
Right.
But like a couple of them names are like his little brothers. Like he had these kids 10th, 9th, 10th, 11th grade, 12th grade, help them go to college, then getting drafted, having them come back, speak at the C1N events. So like it's deeper than I think some people know. I don't think he would be a distraction to.
He could also, to your point, if he knows him that well for that long, he can say like, hey, at this moment, you're allowed to go say, I don't want that to happen. Like if you don't want this play in the playbook, you're allowed to go say, nah, we ain't doing that. Like that is what an NFL quarterback does versus what a college quarterback does or a high school quarterback. Like at this moment, you got to go up to your wide receiver right there and tell him, I need you at 12 yards. That is you. This is what you have to do in the NFL. That's the type of thing that I think I've talked about this before, that I wish like Andrew Luck was able to see Peyton Manning. Not comparing Peyton Manning and Cam Newton. That'd be very disrespectful. I get that. I'm just talking about what veteran quarterbacks have done, experienced, and seen behind the scenes that young guys can't. You become like a CEO almost of a fucking operation. Especially Andrew Luck. Like, Andrew, congratulations. You're 22 years old. There's actually a 40-year-old on this team in Adam Vinatieri, but you are the one that is going to make this whole thing go however you want it to go. I wish Andrew would have been able to see Peyton say like, nah, this guy's staying on the team. Why? Because I like him. Like, this is a guy that I have a good chemistry with, and he would help us out. Like Griff Whalen, for instance. Like, that was his roommate in college. I think Andrew didn't want to appear to be any bias or anything, but anytime Griff was on the field, Griff was getting the ball on third down for a first down. It was like, hey, Andrew, you're allowed to go say, hey, this guy's going to be on the fucking field for third downs because I like him. Like, that's the difference between being in the NFL and getting paid hundreds of millions of dollars as opposed to college where the coaches are the dictators pretty much. It is overnight situation. And that's the type of thing that Cam could say to a young quarterback and be like, hey, here's where you kind of got to have a bad conversation. You got to go tell your offensive line that like, hey, let's go. We need to be on the same page. We got to do this whole thing together. Don't disrespect them because we still need them to be on your side. But you're allowed to have a little accountability. They'll respect you more if you do that. It's a fascinating little balance of being an adult and then also being the youngest person on the roster. It'd be great if he does view those guys as little brothers and not trying to like overtake them or anything like that.
Yeah, that was a big part that I had to learn when I got in the league. Like, you have a lot of say-so in this room. You were the first defensive player picked. And it didn't really dawn on me till I seen Keith Bullock say something to Jim Swartz, which was our defensive coordinator. He called a zero blitz on a 3rd and like 15. And we get in front of the team meeting room, and Keith say, man, why in the hell would you call that call? And I'm like, well, so this how we talk to him? And it clicked on me like, oh, yo, we're playing for a livelihood here. Like, this is our job to get it done. And the coaches are just guides. They don't get out there and play, so you got a lot to say so as a player, especially as a quarterback. You are the number one spokesman, I should say, of anything that goes on in the building.
In workouts, in the cafeteria, in travel, in the hotel, the quarterback says, hey, we don't like what's going on in there, probably going to get changed. Anybody else says it, probably we'll look into it.
Yeah.
That's just what happens immediately. All right, let's get to a break. Allegedly, we're having audio problems and shit like that. I have no idea why or how that could be happening. We might have, who knows? Hopefully, we'll be able to get it fixed. We'll be back in about 5 minutes or so. Possibly.
Okay.
Hopefully.
The no laying up guy, Chris Solomon, also known as Solly, will be joining us. We can't wait to talk to him. Hopefully we'll be able to hear him and he'll be able to hear us. Be a friend, tell a friend. Take 5.
5.
Ladies and gentlemen, a man with the dog mentality, Paisano, Coach Sirianni. Yes. You're fucking awesome, dude. Did you ever feel any pressure that you were going to have to change and adapt to being a head coach and speaking in the same bullshit ways that every other head coach talks in?
Some of the best advice I got was be yourself, because if you're not yourself, everyone's going to see through it.
The messaging is the same. You're just doing it in your own way. And I think that's the most important part. And being authentic, you're 100% right. As you were saying, if I wasn't me, everybody would tell the fucking locker room immediately going to be like, well, this guy, he's a stooge. There's another coach that wants to talk to you. Coach Sirianni, your question for Coach Sirianni.
I feel like I know you just as good as I know myself.
What is about Jalen you think from your point of view, last year to this year? Coach Sirianni, your question for Coach Sirianni.
I feel like I know you just as good as I know myself.
What is about Jalen you think from your point of view, last year to this year, that is like cementing him as a guy that people are talking about, this motherfucker might win the MVP?
Well, I know which one thing you want me to say. He's a dog.
Yeah! Yeah!
He's a dog.
Yeah! Fucking dog!
Do you maybe want to play best 2 out of 3, rock, paper, scissors, coach first coach?
You're there forever, huh? Like you have to have that mindset as the head coach. Like, do you feel like you're the perfect head coach for the Philadelphia Eagles? Because it feels like the team is the perfect representative of the city of Philadelphia. And I might be wrong. I'm from Pittsburgh, so the Johns are going to judge me for that.
I love the passion of the city and how much they care about football, because I care about football. I love scissors. Shoot.
Oh,
what you got?
Scissors. Yeah, the same person.
Okay.
We both threw scissors.
Dog mentality really is to be in the moment that you're in now and not worry about what happened in the past, not worry about what's going to happen in the future. It's all about our process and about being here today to make sure we're about to go 1-0 this week. That's it.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Ooh, I definitely got Jason Kelsey the kegs of beer. I was just trying to sweeten the deal of him coming back. As long as I'm the football coach here, I want him here, so I'm ready to give as many kegs of beer to him next year and the year after that and the year after that, because that guy is a dog.
Rock, paper, scissors,
shoot.
Same man.
We are getting our ass kicked in this preseason game. Belichick is taking it to us. It's halftime, and we are getting booed like you've never been. I was like,
paper,
rock, paper,
scissors,
shoot.
Oh, I think you might have rock there, but hey.
You got no idea what I'm going to do, because you're like, there's no way he's throwing scissors again. Come on, baby. I got a damn flower thrown at me. Right? A flower chucked down. We lost to the Chargers. Boom, flower chucked down.
Hey, how's your little manure settling in? That's literally what that John said as they were throwing that John at you. They were like, how's the manure and how's the flowers coming, coach?
Hey, this is game 7 here. Rock, paper,
scissors, shoot.
Scissors again. He threw scissors again, so did I. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Oh, you guys are the same. Come on, hey, this is for 15 or 10.
Paper, scissors, shoot.
Oh! Dog mentality.
I got dog mentality, coach. What can I tell you?
What are you going to do to change and make Tua better? Have you gotten into that? This is very early in the whole process, and you're shaking hands, kissing babies right now, and you're a 0-win head coach that everybody loves.
0 wins.
0 win, but what are you thinking about that for Tua? How do you make him better?
We're going to start with scoring more points than the opponent.
Wow!
Holy shit.
Oh, no.
You are changing the game.
Changing the game.
Yeah.
Through math.
Yeah, that's right.
No, I think there's I was just so fortunate in my career to be around the process of how I look at things with the empowerment of the right teachers, that I look backwards, forwards, okay? What things do I see that are really awesome about his game on tape, even though we're at...
He's accurate as heck.
Boom! That's what I was just about to say.
Oh, I didn't know. I was just, you were leading me. That's how, you should do this, maybe.
Dude,
think about it in the future. But he's accurate.
Or we should just spend the time finishing each other's...
sentences.
Oh, okay.
Hey, have we known each other for...
our whole lives?
Oh, my God.
You tell...
Me?
Wow.
This is weird.
Dude.
Whoa,
Seems like you guys just became.
Dude.
wow, this is fucking weird, AJ.
Bro.
Hey, this is...
Did we swap skins?
Wow, we learned a lot about yours, by the way. I mean, that
All right, welcome back to the program. We can't thank you enough for joining us on this Masters Tee-Off Thursday, April 6, 2023. The Toxic Table's here at Boston Connor, at Ty Schmidt. One half of the Hammer, Dahn. Cowboys, Tone Diggs is here. And 14-year NFL corner and icon of a man, ladies and gentlemen, Pac-Man Jones is here. I believe we got all the audio and maybe the synchronization of our mouths and the sounds that are coming out of it back right. Nice. And the dropping out of service and back in allegedly has been fixed. Okay. Shout out to Zito and Bill behind the scenes.
Hey, boys.
And now it's time to have a conversation that we've never got to have before. And that is with a man who has been a part of something that has been massive. Just looked into it a little bit more, and I had heard of it around the internet, because how could you not have heard of no laying up? But once I started doing a little bit more research, massive piece of real estate. Massive congratulations to the entire team over there. Joining us now, the man who's going to make us much, much smarter as we watch the Masters this weekend. Ladies and gentlemen, Chris Solomon, also known as Solly.
Thank you very much for having me. Do we have a live stream going? Do you have multiple feeds going as you're watching, as you're doing the show? Do you have a master stream going?
Yeah, we got to right down here on a TV. Literally, it's been pretty distracting, I'm going to be honest. We've had audio issues. Our stream has dropped off a little bit. And we've watched John Rahm take a run at like a 40-footer that ended up like an inch off. We've seen Tiger's putter be cold, ice cold. We were just thinking about a stat. He's 7 of 8 at greens in regulation, but he just can't bury a damn putt. He is currently in...
He's +2. I don't know what place that puts him in right now.
But the leader's at 4 under, Hovland. What should we be thinking about as we go into this week, Solly? Obviously, Hovland's in the lead here early. John Rahm started ice cold, but he's back into 6th place. What should we be thinking about as we get closer to the weekend, Solly?
A lot of golf left. A lot of golf. We can't, you can't go too hard too soon. Today is going to be the outlier day. It is perfect conditions out there. The golf course is going to play totally different as soon as the rain hits, and there's going to be a lot of rain coming. I don't know what the starts and stops are going to be like for weather, but it's going to turn into a bit more of a driving contest. The dudes that hit it far are going to have an advantage kind of through the rest of the week, I think. But today is up for grabs. Anyone could go out and shoot a good number. It's all about, it's a cliche to say, but it's not. It's about not playing yourself out of it on Thursday, because there is so much golf to go after today. Everyone's got this pent-up energy. We've all got it, and we want to react to scores that are rolling in right off the bat. I'm doing it. I fall for it every time, but long ways to go. We're on like opening possession. We just had kickoff. That's pretty much all that's happened. So.
Okay, but if somebody took it to the house and it's 4 under, I mean, that's quite a, I don't know what stats tell us, but Hovland probably in a good shot to take a run at this, or if people collapse completely, and will the weather have a chance to do that?
Hovland's a dude that we've been kind of waiting for a statement performance on, and he was close to the Open Championship last year. He's got it to 4 under very early on. His putter's been very hot, but like I said, he's about 10% of his way through the tournament so far. But he is a dude that, again, when it gets kind of wet and it turns into a long drive contest, he's a dude that can hit it very far. So I would expect him to stick around based on that.
We were told, and we were trying to read the internet, we don't know shit about fuck when it comes to golf, but we tried to get a little, because of what you're talking about with the weather, might see some really good scores today, might see some really high scores, because people are going to be more aggressive because they feel like they can maybe get some numbers today as opposed to throughout the rest of the weekend. Justin Thomas, I think we saw him have a pretty good start. Is there anybody else we should see today that could potentially put up a big number either one way or the other because of how aggressive they're going to be with the clear weather?
Cameron Young is one of the most exciting dudes to watch play golf. Is I don't know if this number means anything to you, Pat, but his tee shot on one went 155 feet in the air, which is just insane. The dude absolutely mashes it. He is a ball striking machine. He's off to an extremely hot start. He birdied the first 3 holes. He's since made a bogey since then, but he's a dude that has just been, he hasn't won yet. He hasn't won any PGA Tour events yet. So winning a major would be an enormous first leap, but he's a dude I felt like people were kind of sleeping on coming into this and in the lead up over the last year coming into this, and he's off to a hot start. So that's a noteworthy one for me.
Okay, so I like the fact that you said he's an electrifying, exciting, and entertaining golfer. Now, 155 feet, that guy's hitting 16 stories, this guy. That's a big building out.
You got to pull up one of his swings. I mean, he gets to the top and it looks like he pauses and he just sends it. I mean, absolutely sends it with no regard on pretty much every swing. And it's just awesome to watch that on repeat.
Okay, so I love that. I appreciate that. That'll be something I will seek out. He also has the MLB sponsorship, I heard, because of the relationship with Bob Manfred. Shout out to baseball having quite a week.
Here we go.
Baseball's having quite a week with Cam Young. But that brings me to like my question about golf broader as opposed to just this weekend. And I saw you guys had this conversation on your show because I was looking at some of the clips, and we've chatted about it a little bit because we're casuals. We watch on the weekend. We take a nap for like 15, 16 minutes. We're back in. Yeah, that's kind of what. That's how
boring.
Okay, but it's perfect. It's not just boring. It's like perfect.
Yeah, it's ideal.
It is like, do you want to take a nap to this? Yes. Like,
absolutely.
Some people use like raindrops and thunder and then like a babbling brook, you know, anything like that. Golf is a very perfect, like, whoosh, with the, and he hits another one. And then it's like perfect sleeping weather. But I don't know enough about golf, but I do watch it enough to kind of have an opinion. What we started thinking about and worried about was the personalities of golf, because obviously Scotty Scheffler is at the top of it right now, and he is awesome to watch, swinging out of his fucking cleats, and how great he is at golf. And I think he's probably going to do great today. He was plus 700 to win. I think everybody probably put $500 on that, or $50 or $5 on that, because the payout could be great with how long shot he is. And that's not normal because he's Scotty Scheffler. But his personality isn't really one. I think that is, you know, Tiger Woods, John Daly. Like, I don't know if he is kind of a whole world to get behind him. His talent is good enough, though, that it's good for the game of golf. And how many other golfers you think does it take to continue to build golf up to be the sport because it feels like it's on top right now, will remain that way with this next generation of golfers that are about to kind of put it on their shoulders?
It's a tough lift. You know, a lot of these dudes that are insanely good at golf aren't necessarily the most personable people. You know, they don't have, they don't bring a lot of flair to it. And it's really hard to be. All these guys have to be their own CEOs, right? They get so many requests coming through, and it's all, if you say yes to too much stuff, all of a sudden you have distracted yourself from what got you to this place. You know, if I was one of these guys' agents, I would be encouraging them to do like a medium amount of media and like a medium amount of personality. I'll give Joel Damon as an example. I don't know if you guys got a chance to watch on Netflix.
Oh, yeah.
Joel is the best. Like, he does all the media. He'll do anything you put him up to. But like, you got to balance. Like, now you're the dude that's known as that had 2 White Claws in between U.S. Open qualifying rounds and went out and qualified. And the dude that took off his shirt at the 16th hole at Waste Management, which was awesome. But like, do you want to deal with being that guy for the rest of your career? So a lot of these dudes, they play it pretty safe, right? But I give Scotty credit. He is himself. Like, he doesn't try too hard. Bryson's a dude that I think tries way too hard, like tries to get people to like him and tries to show off a personality that I don't know is there. So Scotty just keeps it, keeps it pretty straight laced. And it's kind of, we've said this too. It's like, the more he wins, the more interesting it's going to be. Like, it's a career that's going to be worth following and worth seeing what kind of greatness he can achieve. He's still extremely young. He's #1 player in the world and coming off winning the Masters last year. And I'm with you. I'd be surprised if he didn't win the Masters this year.
Okay, that's great news for me. All right, I like that. But the greatness is what people will watch for, and I think that's completely okay. But if there was a lightning rod, if there was a lightning rod,
jump in here. Yeah. It's tough right now. There's a lot of parity in golf right now, right? Like, I can tell by your kind of reaction to what's going on. Some of these dudes are kind of still young, new names to you, right? I feel like we're in a phase right now of a beginning of a lot of career arcs, right? I mean, with Tom Watson and Arnold Palmer and Jack Nicklaus, like, by the time they got to the 70s and 80s, you could kind of react to a career that was already, established, and, going for your 8th major instead of your 2nd major is just a totally different story. Whereas right now, golf kind of had a little post-Tiger dip in the early 2010s, I'd say, but it's on the up with, Rory McIlroy's got 4 majors, Justin Thomas has 2, Jordan Spieth has 3. Like it just, we're not, in that era of greatness yet. It might be 4 or 5 years until we're like, those guys are trying to stack their 5th and 6th majors where it just gets into a totally different category, I think.
Okay, so we're in the earn your dynasty, earn your legacy era. I like that. I don't mind that at all. I think golf is going to. What are your thoughts on LIV? What are your thoughts on LIV? Obviously, it's changed PGA. There's more money. There's more tournaments. It feels like life for golfers got better. Automatically make the cut, so you get paid, I guess, in some designated events for the big names. It feels like that has gotten better business-wise. But Dustin Johnson was somebody, I think, because of how far he hit it, the way he went about it, who he was married to, that brought eyes. Brooks Koepka, because he was kind of thwarted into the superstardom in the way he operated and how he always had big
lippers.
You know what I mean? The way he operated. He's now out of the PGA and he's with LIV, but he's here at Masters, so that's fucking great for the Masters weekend and majors as a whole. But what do you think about that? Because some of the superstars that kind of already, I don't want to say earned their legacy, but kind of would still be in the PGA every single week, they're now at a different place. So you think that opens up more opportunity? What do you think it really does for everything?
Can I flip this on you? I want to ask you this question.
Yeah.
What would your reaction be if say 6 of the top 32 quarterbacks in the NFL left the NFL and played, you can say XFLers, played another league, went somewhere else to play their competitive sport? What would your reaction to that be?
Were they offered $150 million guaranteed?
Sure. Yeah, like let's say Dak Prescott got offered $150 million to go play for the Saudi Football League. What would your reaction to that be?
So it would have to be more than 150 though, because we already are giving out that type of money. I don't know if you guys are.
Let's say it's 350. Let's say it's something absurd.
So it's like $400 million guaranteed. What Messi was just offered to go play,
yeah, bingo,
or whatever, like $400 million guaranteed. I think we would all go like, hey man,
good luck in the heat.
I think that's literally what we would do, and I assume that's what a lot of golfers are kind of doing. Like, hey, if you can get $150 million guaranteed to do golf, do what you got to do. But it would certainly hurt our league, is I think what you're saying.
I think it's for me as a fan. I don't care that much about. I can understand the individual decisions in that regard. Like, dude, yeah, it's pretty hard to turn down hundreds of millions of dollars to go play it. But as a fan, why I like golf, right, is to watch the competitive nature of it. You cited a couple examples of, the PGA Tour potentially improving and how much better it's gotten out there financially. I always try to keep the perspective of a fan, right? I think you may have a little bit of a perspective as an athlete and somebody that's competing.
Yeah. Gotcha.
That's your perspective. But as a fan, dude, what is making Masters Week so great is watching all these dudes back together again. I miss watching Cameron Smith play against Rory McIlroy. I miss watching Dustin Johnson compete against Justin Thomas. Like it seems like that shouldn't happen only 4 times a year now. And to me, again, strictly viewing this from a fan's perspective, it doesn't make sense to have divided up competition and kind of, dumb it down a little bit. And now the PGA Tour's reaction to it has been to say, all right, we're going to change how we do things, and we are going to get what we have remaining in our stars. We're going to get them all together more frequently. That's a great development. I just wish it didn't take for this kind of fracturing for that action to happen. Now, listen, it is endlessly complicated. I've dove into this to levels I do not recommend that you do.
Okay.
It's really hard to get change pushed through in the PGA Tour, the way the whole structure of it works and all that stuff. And I'm not going to bore you with those details. They needed some kind of outside force to push some of these changes through. But to me, there's also major championship golf, which is what we have 4 times a year. And there's professional golf. There's 2 different categories, right? And I'm watching week to week. I want to see the tournaments and I want to see these guys play against each other. Most casual fans, they tune into the majors. And if anything, those have only gotten better. So I that's what has got me so excited for this week is like, dude, it's going to be a crazy weekend if we get a Dustin Johnson or a Cam Smith or a Patrick Reed, who's up on the leaderboard right now, in the mix against some of the fan favorites going into it. It's going to be, oh man, I don't know if the golf world's fully prepared for that.
Hell yeah. Are they wearing uniforms like, NWO whenever they were in WCW? They had, do all the LIV guys have the same color ensemble or?
They got logos and stuff. It's not all uniform, right? But
they should be all straight jet black.
Yeah. LIV hats.
It should be just so
whenever
weird. Yeah, it is. It's an interesting time. It's a very interesting time for golf. And I obviously you hear Rory talk, and Jordan talk, and Justin talk. It feels like they feel like they're putting on for the PGA. You know, like, hey, we love our league. We love everything about the PGA. We're the next generation of the PGA. And then you hear like Phil and Brooks and these guys talking. They're like, And they give me a couple $100 million.
A lot of money.
Trying to change the PG.
Phil Mickelson and the boys aren't chatting. I heard the dinner the other night was a little bit Phil off. I think Fuzzy Zeller said Phil was just kind of eating by himself.
Keeping to himself.
Just being quiet. Is he so locked in on winning, or what is it? What's going on?
No, didn't say. I mean,
fuck
Phil
everybody.
has
That's what
never
Phil
shut
was saying. Phil was saying fuck everybody.
Yeah. I think he has never shied away from talking in his entire career, maybe in his entire life. And this is a Phil Mickelson I do not recognize. If I was him, I would, if I didn't feel welcome at that dinner for whatever reason, I just wouldn't go. I wouldn't go and not.
You would not go to Augusta National if you were invited?
No, I would go. But the Champions dinner is where this happened on Tuesday night.
Oh,
right?
just
Where
as a
only the
whole, you're
champions
saying. Got it.
Get invited. If you're going to go and not talk to anybody, why go, right? I don't. He skipped the Masters last year amongst a lot of the controversy that was going on. And a lot of the LIV and PGA Tour guys have been pretty cordial with each other. They still have relationships with each other. It's not, it's not straight boring factions around the clock. There's some dudes that definitely don't get along. A lot of dudes on the PGA Tour are very frustrated by the fact that, it's not about the fact that people left for LIV. It's that they try to sue their way back into the PGA Tour, which again, kind of complicating things here, but how the structure works. But essentially you're suing like your fellow professional golfers, right? There is no ownership group at the PGA Tour level. It is owned essentially by the PGA Tour players. So if, it'd be different, again, if using our Dak Prescott example, if he left and also was suing the Cowboys or something like that, and that was hurting the salary that those guys would be getting potentially earned, there might be a little bit of bad blood there. So it's just a little bit more to the story than maybe the whole sports world can fully comprehend.
No, yeah, that's a massive piece of information that we weren't thinking about at all. I could see how you could be pissed. And I think Rory said something about getting served on Christmas Day. Was that what it was? Or?
Yeah, that's right. With his family.
He said, yeah. Is that what happened?
That's a whole different thing. Patrick Reed has hired this attorney, Larry Klayman, and he's gone around suing everyone. And that the attorney himself had so Reed let this guy off the loose pretty much, but the attorney himself has a lawsuit, and they managed to serve Patrick Reed on Christmas Eve, serve Roy McIlroy on Christmas Eve. They also served Justin Thomas, I believe, the day before his wedding, as a part of that lawsuit as well. So there's some like just some needling, a lot of stuff that's really petty that's gone on that has really contributed to a lot of the, the bad blood.
Bro, if you're getting a couple $100 million, I think you just kind of move along.
Take it.
Yeah, just kind of move along.
That's what everyone has been. Harold Varner had an awesome interview this week with the Washington Post. He's like, look, it's not about growing the game. It's about money. Like, it's straight up about money. That's all this is. And no one is mad at the dudes that Dustin Johnson's like one of the few really guys that is still in the somewhat prime
less
of his career.
Work, more money. That's what he actually said.
Pretty simple. And he's not antagonized anybody. He's gone about, he hasn't he wasn't a part of the lawsuit. He has resigned his PGA Tour membership. I'm going to go play LIV. I'm going to go play the majors. This is what I want. And no one's mad at Dustin for it. No one is. Yet a lot of the dudes just can't shut up. They can't stop, just saying the dumbest things and try to justify it when we all know it's about the money. It's just pretty simple.
John Rahm started with a double. He is now 3 under through 8.
Let's go.
Absolute dog. Pac-Man has a question for you, Solly.
Solly,
what's up, Pac-Man?
What's up, brother? Why are you saying that like the LIV is like some bullshit basically compared to the PGA? Can you like elaborate on that a little bit more, because you saying it like it's just a bullshit league. As a non-golfer, can you like put it in dumb terms for me?
Yeah, it's a lot more like exhibition golf to me than it is competitive golf. Like, listen, they got music blasting all throughout the course. Like, it is an entertainment product. I'm
$100 million.
They're paying $100 million over there. Come party on a golf course.
Listen to music, yeah.
What'd you say? It's kind of like it's like an event more so than a competition.
Yeah, they have concerts out there. Like, it's designed to be like an entertainment product, I guess, and it's just not that entertaining. They have. It's just like there's 54 holes. It's a shotgun start, and it's just it's just kind of very silly. This whole idea of where LIV came from was actually a really extremely intriguing idea. It's called the Premier Golf League. They basically just literally stole this idea out from underneath a guy named Andy Gardner, and his proposal was like, hey, we got to work with the PGA Tour and get everyone on board and embrace a team aspect in golf, which I'm actually in support of.
Hell yeah.
Now, the Saudis were partially funding this thing, and then they tried to divest from the Saudis. The Saudis said, and I took that personally, Michael Jordan voice, and they went and stole the idea and just ran with a couple $1 billion and started throwing money at people haphazardly, throwing against a wall. And my whole thing that I've been pretty anti-live is like, dude, they're never going to get everyone. They're not going to get Rory. They're not going to get JT. They're not going to get Spieth. So at best, we're going to get a divided world in golf. And if you just watch this thing, first of all, no one's watching it. Their ratings are horrible. And you just
hold on, One Tree Hill or something.
Yeah, CW. Have you been to Waste Management?
I have. It's awesome. It's awesome. I love Waste Management. I'm down with like a non-serious vibe, but like at the end of the day, like the best players are competing in the Waste Management. That is a premier golf event, and at the end of the day, it is about the competition. Like it's not about like all quiet and all this stuff. It's just it is just crazy silly. If you watch it at all, it just because the logos they came out with for the teams when they debuted it looked like clip art. Like it's been very funny to follow, to be honest. But at the same time, it's just been kind of disappointing to watch dudes like kind of that have great futures in professional golf leave and go play just a few times a year now.
Yeah, and I have not seen a single one except for that first one they did live on YouTube.
That's right.
Yeah.
And they did it on YouTube, and they didn't have the people's names.
No. Nope.
I couldn't find out who the fuck the person was.
Yeah, the first three
But it was their first one, though. I was like, hey, listen, they're putting $100 or some million in every single player. They're going to put a lot of money into their production. We assumed they'll be able to catch up. What you're saying, because it sounds like you have watched since the first one, is they have not made it a much better viewer experience for the people at home.
Well, I actually kind of liked that it was on YouTube. It's just easier to access.
We love that. Yeah. Shout out YouTube, by the way.
Now you got to watch it on the CW, or you got to download the CW app to get it on there. And it just, the barrier to entry is just a little bit less. But man, it was an interesting thing when they were gaining steam every week that they had a brilliant kind of rollout strategy of how they brought people in. Instead of announcing all the names at once or bringing in everyone at once, it was like this cascading effect, like this never ending thing of like, oh gosh, Brooks Koepka was a 4-time major champion who is not in my consideration. I know he's had some injury problems, but not past his prime. And like when he left, like one of the most competitive dudes I have seen play professional golf in my lifetime, when he left to go do it, it was kind of like, oh my God, this has a chance to almost end the PGA Tour. And if I thought it was in trusted hands of Greg Norman he's a buffoon. Like, let's just say it out loud. Oh, dude. I mean, this dude, I can't even bring up enough examples of him just putting his foot in his own mouth, saying the most ridiculous things. He said, if a live player wins the Masters this week, that all 18 live guys that are in the field are going to be there to have a celebration on the 18th green at Augusta National. Like, that's just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to how Greg Norman has handled all this stuff. So,
you don't think they're going to let him on? How many people Augusta National just say, yeah, you know what? Let's have 30 people come jump on the green. Yeah, that is certainly something that'll take place down there. Vibe. Yeah, I could understand. The Brooks one, that Netflix episode, I think, kind of showcased a lot about where he is and what he was. Go ahead, Tony.
Yeah, I had to follow up on Brooks because you're right, no one saw it, but he did win last week in the live event, and he's 2 under through 3. I heard he's fully healthy. He feels fully healthy, but he looked broken in the full swing. Does the golf community think that Brooks has a chance to maybe return back to the form that he was?
The answer to that question is we don't know. That's the frustrating part. It's really hard to evaluate the results that come out of live. It's a limited field, 48 players. Guys, a lot of guys are mostly past their prime, and there's no qualification system for live. And so it's really hard to say, like, does that win mean anything on a golf course that, is not very similar to Augusta National, et cetera? Again, a part of the disappointment that's come from live is Brooks Koepka is one of the best players of this generation. And it felt like when he left, and again, watching the Netflix series, it felt like a bailout move, right? Of, dude, I don't know if I can still compete with these guys. Those are his words. And he went and took the money, and it kind of felt like a move of waving the white flag. I want him to be back. I want him to compete this week. I want to experience Brooks Koepka back in major championship battles. I have not been in support of what live has done to the professional golf world, but I don't find myself rooting against the live players in majors, right? Like I said, there's pro golf and there's major championship golf. They're two totally different things. I like seeing the best players in the world compete against each other. There's very valid reasons why the live players can't play on the PGA Tour these days, but man, I am rooting for Brooks Koepka to get back in the mix because I don't want to believe that he's done being competitive. Because again, 4-time major champion in this era he's underrated still in somehow, some way. 2 U.S. Opens, 2 PGA championships. He is in a class of his own, basically with Rory McIlroy in this era.
I watched that Drive to Survive golf thing.
Yeah.
And the Brooks episode. To your point, we all watched it and we're like, we all know why Brooks took $150 million. Guy never thought he was going to win again.
Exactly.
The guy never thought he was going to win again. And I could see how you can get to that in a game of golf where the sweet spot is like that big. And if you're in your head at all, I heard you're a scratch golfer, so that must be fun. But like, if you even start thinking at all, I mean, you can go off the rails quick. One round could be ruined. It felt like Brooks thought that he was never going to be able to get to your point. And I'm like, I understand why he took the money. But then what happens if you do get back, you know?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And he is right now, you know, like that's the whole thought.
Thing about golf, man. That's the thing is like part of the deal is it doesn't last forever, right? Every single player has ups and downs, right? And you don't just get to go run when you start to run into your first hurdle.
Unless there's 150 million there, you know, pulling you.
It's frustrating though, man. Like, there's a little bit of, there's a whole nother element to it of kind of, look, Tiger Woods, what he created in the professional golf atmosphere is, these guys are pretty much essentially forever indebted to him, right? And there's a system within the PGA Tour and the European Tour and all kinds of things that, like a minor league system that supports all of professional golf, right? You got to qualify through these ranks. And it feels a little bit for the guys that went to live like they're pulling the ladder up behind them, right? Like, I'm going to go get my bag over here. Look, this live thing probably not going to last forever. All right. It's not very sustainable. It does not make any business sense. Right. So again, very tempting when somebody dangles the money right in front of you. But at the same time, there's a little bit of an element of like, there's a cooperation, unspoken cooperation agreement amongst professional golfers of like, our value is the highest when we're all playing together. And the dudes that have individually pulled themselves out of that have harmed the professional golf world in some ways and the PGA Tour in some ways. Now, again, at the same time, it's gotten them back in the room to say, how can we figure out to make this more entertaining and better for golf fans, which that is a positive step.
And the PGA could have just paid everybody that was golfing every week.
Yeah.
I mean, that's something that also could have happened. I mean, I understand the players say, hey, when we're all here, it's better for everybody because that's real. When the most talented people are in any field or in one particular place, it's obviously going to up the business for everybody. But the thought that the golf world was just allowed to just get away with not paying people if they didn't make it to the weekend, even if they were superstars and everything, like that was news to us whenever we found out about it. I was like, what? Guys are just not getting paid for showing up, being on TV, building ratings, selling sponsorships, and they're not getting paid at all from the league. That doesn't sound like an agreement at all. That sounds like that was a surprise to us and every other sport. I think, Sully. I honestly
no.
Well, you kind of get it with a play better though, right? You make the weekend, you're going to make probably somewhere between 10 and 50,000.
Yeah, but you're saying you look at it from a fan's perspective. You don't look at it from a business perspective at all. It's
or a player.
Yeah, like, you know what I mean?
You ain't seen what Lamar going through? No, I'm just
that our world's vastly different, I guess, with injuries and potential out of there. But golf, I mean, you can lose the stroke forever. Like, it's just, that was wild whenever it was like, there's zero guaranteed money at all to anybody at any event ever. It's like, that's great. It's cool that you guys have been able to do that, but that feels like an archaic way of doing things with how much money is currently available in the content game. But I think that's changed now, right? And that has kind of changed.
It's changed a little bit, right? So it used to, there is something with the PGA Tour they'd put in a couple of years ago that if you play 15 events, no matter what, you get $50,000, right? So that's something, right? At least
now we're talking.
Now there's I'll screw this up if I'm trying to do it live, but now there's something in place where basically, like, if you make a minimum number of starts, basically you get like an advance up to $500,000 for rookies or something like that.
Okay.
Like there are some pathways now, but
that's good.
It's funny how golf does operate differently. It is an eat what you kill sport, right? And it is almost always answered with a play better, right? So if you're talking about dudes, if you show up at 15 times and you never make it to a weekend, like, I'm sorry, but like, maybe you shouldn't be out there. Like, maybe you should not be a part of this professional golf. Like, it's a very binary question. If you play good enough, you're going to make the money and you're going to get into the next event. You're going to get the next event. And if you don't, you're going to go back to the Corn Ferry Tour, where they pay very handsomely on the Corn Ferry Tour as well. And, they have sponsorships. These guys still are able to make a living, even if you don't get $1 in on-course earnings.
All right. That's good news to hear. And, pro golfer ran through the Corn Ferry Tour.
That's right.
Some golf fans hate the fact that they get guaranteed money, which those
people are awesome. Those people, you do better better than, it's like, okay, all right. They're still making money off the tournament that person's in. So where's that money going? Oh, it's just going to a couple people's pockets as opposed to the athletes. Okay, cool. Yeah, you can support it. Yeah, absolutely. Good for those. Yeah, you're 100% right. Like it's hard for me to ever agree with those people, but I can understand where they're coming from because that's how golf has been for a very long time. Connor has a question for you, Sully. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was going to say, so real quick, how team sports work, name an outside linebacker, right? That is probably the 900th or, ranked player in all of the NFL, right? He serves a certain purpose on that team, right? He has value to that team. Whereas an individual sport like golf, there's about 30 guys that actually bring value to the tournament, bring viewers, bring people out to go watch. And like the rest of the fields are kind of filled with dudes that, people don't necessarily sit down to watch,
but
right?
Pros.
So,
yeah, but he's saying nobody gives a fuck.
Yeah.
I think that's what you're saying, right? So you're saying hey, those people that aren't the needle movers, which they made that right. Jordan Spieth's dad came, the performance bonus or whatever,
social,
because he wasn't winning as much. But you guys were showing, the golf world was showing his collapses every single week, and it was like, hey, congratulations, you win $125,000, but we just got $15 million worth of content out of you every single week as he was kind of collapsing, and they kind of created that bonus, which is good for those top. I think that's great for business as well for the professional golfers. I think what you were saying is like that's pretty interchangeable operation everywhere else, but there's a chance one of them could go on a run and change their life. Is that what you're kind of describing?
I always use this example, right? I imagine not a lot of you guys have heard of William McGirt, but if William McGirt ties Roy McIlroy in a tournament, they both walk away with the same amount of money, right? And they have both provided very, very, very different values to that tournament, right? So if anything, I would argue that the bottom half, the middle tier to bottom half of like professional golf has been paid probably too well. Like the top players have subsidized the rest of pro golf for quite some time. And that is what is kind of shifting. Now you see these big these no-cut events you're talking about, these 8 designated events that are just going to be top 70, top 80 players, $20 million purses. Like it's going to start to look like a better distributed curve, if you will. It's more comparable to the value those guys bring to the tour.
Their lives are not fun either.
No.
I was watching. I think that was the thing on Netflix that I learned the most, because we've put in a request for like Jordan Spieth to come on this show a couple of times, and their people have reached out and be like, hey, Jordan wants to come on the show. Can we make some work? Like, absolutely, would love to have him on. And then for one reason or another gets canceled. I'm like, well, fuck this guy. This guy, like 3 different times this has happened. I'm like, I have nothing for this guy. Then I watch that thing. I'm like, this guy's life is terrible.
Brutal.
I would never want to do any media. They're on the road all the time. And when they're not on the road, you have to be golfing. If you're not golfing, you're golfing with business partners. Yeah. You're doing a pro-am. Wow. You're doing a thing. And then you might not get paid that week. Back in the day, it was like, I did not know they're living like rock stars, but they kind of are. They're just on the road nonstop. That is an exhausting thing. So it's like, hey, Jordan, do you ever have time? No, you don't. You actually don't have any time. But if you do, you want to come on, let's do that. It was a fascinating revelation I had while watching that whole thing.
Well, tournament weeks are grueling. There are a lot. You have your practice, you have your physical therapist, you may be meeting with so-and-so, you may be meeting with a sponsor, you might be doing PGA Tour meetings. There's been a lot of meetings lately kind of discussing all the stuff that's going on. You got to get your full, you got to play the front 9, you got to play the back 9, you got to play the Pro-Am on Wednesday, then you play Thursday through Sunday. And then if you play the next week, you're straight off to the next location, right? And it's a lonely life. It really is. I mean, it looks glorious on TV. I always thought being a professional golfer looked like the easiest job in the world when I was a kid. It's not, man. Unless you are like truly one of the top 30, maybe 50 players in the world, it's not necessarily a life I'm envious of.
It's stressful, too. I mean, the ball is small.
Tiny.
That ball is small, and the hole seems to get smaller all the time. Connor has a question for you.
Yeah, so a couple questions. Do you think that there's a chance the PGA does try the live team aspect? Like, do you think they'll do maybe 1 or 2 tournaments where they do partner guys up and it's almost like a scramble? And then also, you mentioned the weather this weekend. Is there any chance that this tournament might not be done on Sunday, that they might have to push one day to Monday because guys don't finish their rounds?
And is that how that would go? Would it go to Monday?
Yeah, would it go to?
It usually does. I'm struggling to think of the last time the Masters had this problem. Usually the Masters is a smaller field. So usually when PGA Tour events go to Monday, it's because they got to get 156 guys through the course through 2 rounds. Then they cut it to 65 in ties. And that's just a lot of dudes to get through a golf course over 4 rounds if you have weather issues involved. Whereas the Masters is only around 90 players, and they can adjust. They can send guys off in the morning. They got a fair amount of daylight this time of year that I would be surprised if it went to Monday. Usually they find a way to make it work, and this golf course can drain really, really well. And I don't think there's huge – I could be wrong. I don't think there's thunderstorms in the forecast. I think it's just going to be wet and rainy, right? Okay. So if the greens get unplayable, they'll have to call play, but they might be playing in the rain. And to your first question, so I think there's something could be interesting. I don't know if it's going to be good yet or not, but there's something that PGA Tour guys are doing starting next year called the TGL. And it's going to be on Monday nights. It's going to be down in Jupiter, Florida. Rory McIlroy and Tiger Woods have started this thing. It's basically like screen golf in an arena where, you're hitting your first couple of shots into a simulator. And then they have a green there where you'll be doing your chipping and your putting on a green in an arena that people can watch. And it's going to air on Monday nights. So there's going to be a team aspect of this. It's going to be kind of just a bonus kind of thing of like this was already kind of planned and in the works or before Live happened, believe it or not.
Yeah.
And it is they're doing something.
I don't believe that, Solly. I don't believe that.
I'm sure you don't.
Yeah.
I don't know if I totally believe it as well.
Yeah, as it was coming out of your mouth, it sounded like you didn't believe it either. That's okay. I didn't want to defend you. Yeah, I got you. Yeah.
It doesn't sound like it, but it's going to be like, all right, here's our competitive golf. We're not changing 72 holes. We're going to play that, but also we're going to bring you a little entertainment on the side, right? And it's like going forward, Tiger Woods is not going to play very many golf tournaments. So it's either you don't watch him play at all, or you watch him play into a screen on Monday nights. And like, that is better than nothing. And I think if they steer into like the entertainment aspect and have some fun, show off some personalities, mic the players up, make it a little more engaging than serious golf, I think it has a chance to be successful at some level. If they take it too seriously, it's not going to be very fun and entertaining. I don't think. It's screen golf. Like, let's not try to treat this like it's a real sport. But that's something that is developing that PGA Tour has like an equity stake in, but is kind of done off to the side, and it's led by Rory and Tiger. And I think it's not really a response to Live, but it's an alternative golf kind of thing that's going to be going on.
Just more content out of the golf world, more ways to make money too, which is obviously a good thing, I think, especially if you're going to contribute to society. I think society will reward you, especially if that becomes a part of our conversation. Like Tiger Woods hitting some sort of trick shot or chip shot in screen golf on a Monday night. We will talk about on Tuesday. Did you see what Tiger did last night after this whole thing? Then we'd have to go through everything like, well, he drove it 340 yards into a simulator right over there. Mm-hmm. Then he walks over and then he chips into the green from that distance and then finishes the hole. Is that how that works?
Well, but I think if they do it right, I think it may start the Monday after Monday Night Football ends. Right. So everyone gets used to having Monday Night Football on. And then starting in January 2024, that next week, the first week that there's not a Monday Night Football game is when this starts.
This is smart. This is smart.
I think so. If they're not planning on that, you can have that free idea. That's exactly when it should start.
Well, and it's funny you say that because they'll actually tell you they've been planning on doing that since before Liv came around. Last question for you, Saul. You spent a lot of time with us here. We really appreciate it.
So after watching Full Swing and kind of everything that's been going on with the PGA, obviously like you mentioned it, Rory is kind of like the flag bearer for the PGA now. And I don't know if this is necessarily true, but it seems like his MO in majors the last few years is like he'll kind of play like shit on either Thursday or Friday and won't really be in contention, and then he'll go real low on Sunday and kind of shoot back up there. Everyone remembers his colossal choke at Augusta all those years ago. Like, is he a legitimate contender, you think, to win this weekend, or do you think he's kind of just snake bitten at Augusta and it's not going to happen?
So for several years prior to last year, the disappointing thing was Rory. Sometimes that back nine comeback on Sunday to shoot up the leaderboard, we call it a backdoor top 5 or a top 10. Even that kind of went away for a little while there, and he turned into what we were calling is just another guy, which is like the saddest thing you could say about Rory McIlroy, because again, he won 4 majors between 2011 and 2014. And it was looking really bad. And last year he had a different kind of performance. You got to remember about golf is like at best when he goes to tee it up, he's got this week, he's got like a 12% chance to win, right? Like golf, just the way it works, man, it's just really freaking hard to win, but you can have success in a tournament and not win. And last year he had a lot of success in major championships. He finished runner up to Scotty Scheffler at the Masters last year. It was kind of backdoor. He had the Sunday 64 to shoot all the way up to that spot, but he had several other top finishes in the majors last year. He played better golf in the major championships last year. He was not just another guy. Yet when you've set the bar so high for yourself, when you've won 4 majors, second place means nothing to him. So, and it means nothing to golf fans, right? We want to see him win. It's been 8. This will be 9 years in I guess July will have been 9 years since he's won a major championship. Like that's a really, really, really long time. And there's no possible chance that is he snake bitten at Augusta? I don't know if I'd use that phrase, but there's no chance that it's not gotten to his head already. This is his 15th try at the Masters. He has not won one. And every year it's what he needs to complete the career Grand Slam. It's what he wants more than anything. Yet in golf, man, like when you want it more, it gets harder. Like the more you want it, the harder it gets. And I have no idea what to expect for him this week. I know I'll be along for the emotional journey. I would want no one else to win the tournament more than Rory. I would rather have Rory win than Tiger win, as crazy as that sounds. Like I want him to complete the career Grand Slam. Okay. I think he's one of the best personalities in golf, most interesting guys to, he's been on our podcast a bunch. And we do these random podcasts on the Trap Draw, which Pac-Man, our hosts are cordially inviting you to come join that podcast sometime, by the way.
Go, Pat.
We do these recaps of random stuff, and we did one on Succession. And Rory found out about it. And he's like, "Oh, I want to be on that." And he came and just talked Succession on there for like an hour. Like he's truly one of the best dudes out there. He's a guy you should have on your show. Well, Speed keeps canceling on you. But so I'm rooting for Rory a lot this week. I'm rooting for him every week. But man, it'd be tougher to come up with a better story in golf than Rory winning the Masters this week.
What happened at 10? He put one like the cameras didn't even have it, right? The cameras couldn't even pick it up because of how bad the drive was on 10.
That was 2011. He started the day, I think, with a 3-shot lead, maybe 4 shots, and front 9 did not go well. But when he got up to the 10 tee, he duck hooked one so bad that into somebody's yard, into a yard off the 10th hole. There's iconic images of him just chipping out from one of the probably billion-dollar cabins they have left of Augusta, and no one has ever been over there. And it was just a really sad image. I think he shot 80 that day and finished 15th place after being in the lead to start the day. And he's never been the same there since.
Listen, as strong as you can be mentally, golf is such a sport that when you're looking over the ball, all you need is what? One negative thought? You put one into one of those cabins that nobody's ever been. It'd be hard not to whenever you're standing at that same spot to be like, all right, don't put it left. Why did I even
too late.
Why did I even think about putting it over to the left? What a fascinating sport you cover. You're doing such a great job. We can't thank you enough for joining us on this Masters Thursday. You're the man, brother.
Anytime, guys. Thanks for having me.
You made us a lot smarter, too. I learned a lot about that whole live PJ. Honestly, as a very casual person with a small brain, you made us a lot smarter today.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me. Anytime.
You're a scratch golfer, huh?
Allegedly. That's what I've been told.
You got to make sure you say allegedly anytime you bring up Brett Favre's name. But like
always,
whenever you did you play high school?
Played in high school. Yeah. Stopped after that, but started picking it up more recently. It's a freaky thing, dude. Back to what you were saying about Rory on 10T. It's like one of the best phrases I've ever heard in golf is when you're hitting it good, you never think you're going to hit a bad shot again. And when you're hitting it bad, you never think you're going to hit a good shot again. It really is that fragile. And even at the highest level, it can really turn that fast for a lot of these dudes.
Oh, I was a punter and a kicker, man. I know. Don't you? I understand completely. Ladies and gentlemen, from the No Laying Up podcast, an absolutely legendary group of dudes creating content around golf. Chris Sullivan.
Yeah.
Tiger Woods. Looking real clean today.
Yeah. He birdied one. He's +2 now.
It must be hot. He is drenched in sweat.
Probably humid, right? With that.
All right, let's get to a break. I mean, we all just literally watch the TV.
Oh, my God.
Missed a little bit deep there. That's going to be tough going into Amen Corner. Let's go. Let's take a quick break, and then AJ Hawk will join us on the other side.
That chip by Hovland over the sand trap.
At 10 there.
To save par.
That was unbelievable.
Unreal.
He's got it working today.
That 9th hole, they say, is really hard.
They do real tough.
What did Tiger get on the 9th?
Tiger par.
Tiger got par?
Yeah, Hovland birdied.
Did he?
Yeah. I believe so.
I didn't know people birdied that hole. All right. Let's get to a break. AJ Hawk will be on the other side, as will Michael Lombardi. Also, your phone calls on the 5 Energy phone line, 1-833-432-3663. That's 1-833-4-DA-DOME. You are the best people on earth. This is the Pat McAfee Show. Be a friend, tell a friend. Take 5.
Hey, that ain't gonna help, Miz. That ain't gonna help. That's gonna do nothing. He was
three-sport athlete at Plum High School, where his volleyball team was in the mix for a Section 3 title. Making his Lake Tahoe debut for the brand, McAfee! Aaron Rodgers!
Hi, baby.
AJ Hawk!
Hi, baby, AJ.
Long!
Boom.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, baby.
Come on. Come on. Come on. Good job.
AJ, you got one of these?
We got about 12 of these.
That's not real.
Good line here. Good line here. Buy some drinks. Ah!
Great putt.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Damn. Oh, he wants you all sorry about it.
Hey, let's go.
Go. Get here. Get here. Come on. Here we go. Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
Our American Century Championship coverage rolls on here from the back deck of Edgewood Tahoe. How about Pat McAfee stopping by, man?
Definitely the biggest and best game to date this particular NFL season was the Minnesota Vikings traveling up to Buffalo. Patrick Peterson putting the game away with an interception. I believe Josh Allen's like 0 for 4 in his last 4 overtime games. Not great. But here in the end, 2nd and 10, minute 15 left, down 3. Josh Allen throws a pick to Patrick Peterson going into the game. We didn't know if Josh Allen was going to be playing or not. He looked healthy to me. He looked like he was able to throw the ball. He got hurt when he was trying to punch out a terrible interception from the other team. I guess he got re-hurt, but he went back on the field. The fumble at the goal line at the very end of the game is obviously nightmare fuel forever. Chris Sims kind of apparently said that the center maybe had a bad snap. It's always interesting to see whose fault it was, because who knows? But nonetheless, in a gotta-have-it situation, the Vikings get a touchdown on the defensive side of the ball after Kirk Cousins gets stopped on a goal line stand by the Buffalo Bills, in which the Buffalo Bills defense was supposed to put a picture of it on the fucking wall in the building, where they had 2 tries from a fucking inch line and did not make it in. Instead, Vikings get a touchdown on a bobbled exchange. Shout out to AQ Shipley and Drew Stanton. Then Josh Allen goes right down the field. Now, Gabe Davis's catch, allegedly, Walt Anderson says, not an actual catch. We should have stopped it and reviewed it. Yeah, you should have. You're the only people that can do it in under 2 minutes. Why is that a thing? Bill Belichick's asking a question. We're all echoing the same sentiment. Can't have this happen, especially in the biggest game of the year. The Vikings and the Bills, two wagons playing each other. The Vikings are very new to being the team in the NFC North, but the entire country needs to recognize that they are the team in the NFC North and a problem. This can't happen. Obviously, Walt Anderson said this is an incompletion and they would have overturned it. And who knows what happens on third down. Will the Bills get in? Who knows? Vikings get stopped with like 40-some seconds left at the goal line, staying there. Damn. What a win for the Bills. Yeah, 48 seconds left. What a win for the Buffalo Bills. And then a Colts game starting at the same time.
Yeah.
So I flip over to the Colts game at that time. Other TV has Red Zone on it. All of a sudden, they're back there again with the Vikings thing. I'm like, holy shit. I think the world just has to recognize that this is a new Vikings team. This is not the old Vikings team. This is a new Vikings team. And I think a lot of it revolves around Justin Jefferson is different. Everybody knows he's different. Defenses look to guard him different. 193 yards yesterday and a ton, including this 4th and 18 catch that is going to go down as a catch of the year. Even with Diggs' catch earlier in this game, Justin Jefferson taking that thing right out of Lewis's hands and then somehow keeping it off the ground there, off the ground, into his stomach. 4th and 18, got to have it down for it. I mean, what a play, what a game. This dude's different, AJ. This dude is different, and it's awesome to watch.
Hey,
What?
let's go!
This show fucking stinks, and the fact that you listen, we are very, very thankful for it. AJ, you never cease to amaze me with your toxicity, pal.
You got a couple of these?
God damn it! What the fuck are you doing?
Fuck Boston.
Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to our humble abode, the Thunderdome, on this Masters Thursday, April 6, 2023. Hour 2 starts now.
Augusta!
Georgia is the host of the 89th Masters of Golf tournament taking place right now. We will keep everybody updated. We just had a chance to chat with host of No Laying Up podcast, Chris Solomon. Old Solly was awesome and fantastic. On the stage, the Toxic Table at Boston Connor, at Ty Schmidt. Also, one half of the Hammer, Dahn, Cowboys Tone Diggs, and a 14-year NFL vet and icon, Pac-Man Jones.
Yeah.
Did you learn anything from Sully there in that golf conversation there with Chris?
Yeah, I learned that the last 15 players are basically fucking practice squad players. Practice squad players get played pretty good. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard out here.
It is. I think golf
he
is.
He talked about this guy like he was just nothing. He got 4 majors. He had a 15-year career, and he basically said that he's okay.
Yeah, Rory.
Yeah.
He said, yeah.
If you think of a quarterback that's had 4 championships, 15 years, you'd be like, hey, he's a dog.
Yeah, hasn't won a Super Bowl in 9 years, still a fucking dog.
Yeah.
Though.
One of the best.
Has been able to be great for a long time. Let's bring in a guy from an attic in Ohio. I assume he got a chance to listen to a little bit of that conversation. I know he's watching the Masters because this guy is a golfing machine.
Oh, yeah.
He's also a college football national champion, a Super Bowl champion, a Ryder Cup champion.
Yeah. No big deal.
We have a Ryder Cup champion joining us on this Masters Thursday, April 6th. He's also a father of 10 and a COVID survivor, the all-time leading tackler for the Green Bay Packers, AJ Haw.
Hey!
AJ, how you doing, pal? I know you're a Ryder Cup champion. I don't know if you've ever won the Masters, but are you watching along, and what are your thoughts?
I have been watching along, but first off, I had to say happy birthday, Tim McAfee. I don't know if you've addressed that yet or not.
Hell yeah. Happy birthday, Tim.
Happy birthday, Tim. Way to bear the lead, AJ.
Way to be a hero, AJ.
Yeah, real nice guy.
You're a hero.
I'm sorry, I want to recognize Tim on this program.
Good for you.
Yeah, who told you it was his birthday?
You did.
Oh, okay. Thank you, hero.
Thanks,
Thank you,
AJ.
hero, AJ.
Why does it matter who tells me? Why does it matter?
Because you did. I mean, I don't know if you've addressed your father's birthday on this program or not.
I'd like to.
Well, I'd like to just come in here. And
Masters are great. I don't know if Tiger's
there you go.
Masters are doing great.
The Masters are fantastic. Look at how many fucking Patriots.
John Rahm's going to win. John Rahm will win this thing.
How about him starting with a double, too? 6 on the first hole, and then now he's
a
just.
machine.
Hovland just hit a long putt. He's 600.
Justin Thomas just buried a long putt to save par. 6 under Hovland might be tough to go. Tone Diggs has a pretty hefty wager, I believe, on the Hov.
Oh.
How come? Did you know he was going to play well?
Him and old Tony Finau.
Way be now.
Yeah.
Tony Finau. Can't wait for Chris Vernon to come out with his. And that's what's going on in Augusta. Can't wait for that, actually.
Yeah. I put together a whole spreadsheet of everyone's models out there on the internet, and fucking Vic Hovland's name just kept popping up and up and up. So, hey, fucking not everyone's going to be wrong.
So your model is kind of like everybody else's model
it's
coming into
accumulation of
one
information,
model.
It's a mega model.
Okay.
You do use the Excel spreadsheet and everything
Yeah,
like that.
Cool. And that's
You are
good.
Have to.
You're very good at it.
Yeah, well, the Hammer Down boys are good gamblers. I mean, that's what you expect from Tone Diggs.
Tone's going to take every piece of information into account, and he's going to figure out what everybody else's thoughts are to make his thought. Victor Hovland was the thought of a lot of other people's models, and you said, you know what? Now that's my thought.
Let's go.
I like Victor Hovland. He's also with Tiger Woods today.
Yes, him and Zonder.
So maybe that'll be able to boost him a little bit for the big moment. He's been playing fantastic. We talked about Cam Newton in the first hour, AJ Hawk. He came out on his show at youtube.com/Cam Newton and said he'd be a backup quarterback for a bunch of guys. Started listing them off. Actually, Justin Fields is in there because he knows Justin Fields from the C1N league.
Yep.
I thought he said CYN, so I got that one wrong. C1N would make a lot more sense. Also, he said CJ Stroud, I believe.
Yep.
He said Anthony Richardson, I believe.
Bryce Young.
Malik
Deshaun
Willis.
Watson.
That was the first one on the list.
Yep.
Yes, Deshaun Watson was on there. So, yes, you did
Aaron.
see. Okay, so you did see the list.
Okay, nice.
What are your thoughts on Cam Newton coming out and saying it? And what do you think inevitably happens with Cam Newton?
I heard what Pac said. I agree with Pac. I think it's awesome. First off, he looks amazing. Like, how long does it take to get dressed? This guy is unbelievable.
So
everything. Like, he just always looks like just everything is so well put together. But I think it's cool that, like I think Pac said, like, kind of put your pride aside and say, hey, I want to play football. And it is – people love to retire players and tell them they're done and say you shouldn't play anymore. You can't play. You already made enough money. Well, guess what, bud? Like, you played football, you start playing because you love the game and you enjoy playing it. So if Cam wants to continue playing, I think it's great he's letting people know that he's willing to be a backup.
How do you feel about in Cleveland up there with Deshaun? Now, Miami, we went through that. Probably going to be a little bit of a tough run with Mike White down there. And I don't think Cam Newton would ever appreciate us saying, yeah, we'd take Mike White over Cam Newton. But in that offense, I think I would take
I need him.
Mike White as the quarterback, especially with what he's proven to be able to do with the ball coming out of his hands in the more recent years than Cam Newton's been able to. But there are some spots that if Cam Newton comes on the team, feels like it could be great for the team. Now, do you want to go and bring in all the potential distraction? You know, that big word. That means a lot of things to a lot of different people. What are your thoughts on that, AJ, in the locker room potentially being divided if something goes wrong with the starter? Aaron, it wouldn't happen. Jalen, it wouldn't happen.
Josh
Allen, it wouldn't happen. There's some places, I guess, that if
But what if, like, okay, let's say he goes to Miami and Tua starts out, plays the first 3 games. He does okay. Say they're 2-1, but then Tua gets hurt. Cam comes in, wins the next 4 games, and Tua comes back healthy. Then you have an issue.
Yeah, and that's not – I mean, that would not be considered an issue, I guess, by Miami Dolphins fans or Miami Dolphins front office, but certainly in the locker room, it would be an interesting thing to have to kind of wade through. But Tua getting hurt, I mean, that is something that could happen. That's why they bring in Mike White.
Yeah.
But some of these other places, I feel like Cam would be a great option to have in there if – none of the other shit was any issue at all that you would have to think about dealing with.
Well, I don't think it'll be an issue because Cam already came out and said he knows his role. So I think you already ahead of the 8 ball. Hey, look, before y'all even get started, this is the starting quarterback. Yeah, we did win a couple of games. This is his job. Like, you got to know what you sign. Awesome. You got to know what you're signing up.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, Houston is the place because, like, Carolina, they're going to draft one of those 3, but they signed Andy Dalton.
Carolina, though.
They signed Andy Dalton, so he
get
Cam back in Carolina, you think? You don't think that
get Andy out of there?
That'd be a nice place to finish it, don't you think?
No, but I'm talking about if you're let's just think about the humans that are making the decisions, not just like what could have, like, Frank Reich, Josh McCown, Andy Dalton there now. Yeah, do we want to bring in Carolina Panthers' most popular player pretty much?
Yeah.
To come back into what we're trying to rebuild. I don't think that's a
that
tough
one out. Let's go to the next one. Cross that one.
I think Philly, if they didn't just sign Marcus Mariota, that would be fucking awesome because everybody knows Jalen's the guy.
Right.
Sirianni would embrace that locker room.
Is Malik Willis a starter though? I know he has Malik on here. Is he considered a starter? Right?
I don't.
Josh Dobbs took his job at the end of the year, so he's not even the second string.
He was a rookie. Who knows what he's going to look like coming into the next year? I think Cam Newton just wanted to give him a little rub, like another guy we have in the NFL. By the way, if anybody's wondering,
I like Cleveland, like we said earlier.
Cleveland could be a spot because if you add him into that run game alongside Chubb and that offensive line they have, could have success. And he knows Deshaun very well. He was the first one on the list.
Sam Howell with Ron Rivera, because him and Ron Rivera probably have a really good relationship.
And Baltimore, man. Baltimore, they have one game when Lamar's not there, so they need somebody.
Still made it in the Pro Bowl. He was the seventh alternate on the AFC side.
He's going up over the top of the playoff game.
That's the Bengals.
That must be the one.
But I don't know if it's my favorite. My brain that's the only one that popped up, so I guess that would be it. And then you start thinking about it. Well, I don't like that more than, and you start like,
It's like saying, what's your favorite song? Well, it depends on my mood, probably, for whatever my favorite song is.
Allegedly, we're having an audio issue again.
Really?
Oh, no.
Like it's delayed or?
So
my internet was down earlier today.
So I don't know. There was allegedly an update that was either supposed to happen or not supposed to happen. And one of these things in the back, a putt almost rolled in. I found that out because Pac-Man just stood up over here and had a full reaction. Tiger almost got in out of the sand or a putt?
Oh, no, deep one.
Long one.
Breaking left to right.
Hovland.
As Hovland's caddy gets in the way.
Why did Kevin not WD?
He was
illness. 4 over.
Sick?
And that too.
Playing like shit.
Will Zalatoris also WD'd.
Oh, no.
Bill Zalatoris?
Is he hurt?
All right, we're going to take a break.
He does well in this.
Everything we're saying right now sounds terrible, allegedly, so it does not matter what we were saying. Let's take a 5-minute break. We'll be back on the other side. We honestly thought that these days were over.
Yeah. Behind us.
It's been a while.
Talked about it yesterday.
Yesterday, our show would have been down for, in the middle of the show, bang, done.
No
the storms that came through. The universe said, oh, was that right?
Oh, you like it up here?
Wait till we just update a server real quick. Boom. And then the other one doesn't update at the exact same time. Bang. And then they're off center. So your voice and your face do not sync up at the same time. Technology is the greatest. It's also the worst. We'll take 5. We'll be back on the other side with phone calls on the 5 Energy phone line while we watch along with the Masters, plus some golf giveaways potentially from Ty and Connor and Tone. Hop on the Golf Simulator. Be a friend, tell a friend. Take 5.
5.
Today has become a massive day in our program's history because just yesterday at about 5:15 p.m. I was sent a text that said, hey, I think it's time. And I said, what do you mean you think it's time? I think it's time to let the world hear where we're at. And I said, Aaron, you let me know if you want me to let the world know about you coming on tomorrow. And he said, yeah, let's do it. I put a tweet out saying, hey, listen, you are cordially invited to Aaron Rodgers Wednesday tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Just 56 minutes, 34 seconds away from right now. Ladies and gentlemen, Aaron Rodgers. What's up, dude?
Good afternoon. Good morning here. Good afternoon there.
There's a lot going on in your world, bro. I don't even know if you know this or if you've been so locked in.
This isn't a decision day. This isn't me deciding and announcing to the world that this is what's going on. In fact, that's already happened. You know, we're actually days past this. This is kind of clearing things up, I think, for everybody interested. And I'm going to get into this now, if you don't mind, Pat. I'm going to go for a little bit here.
Hey, go ahead. There's 430,000 people currently, so a lot more people watching than normal, and they are all interested because you're a fucking dog. as a football player, so go ahead and do your thing, pal.
The timeline, which I think is important, that's why I'm going to go through it, is that in 2020, they drafted Jordan to replace me. There wasn't replacement right away, but as is the case with the Packers and kind of the way they do things, they like to get rid of players like a year early instead of a year late in their minds. There's probably some people who believe that I was a descending player and that it was time to make a change. Everything that I was told in the week that I was in Green Bay was, take as long as you want. We want you to retire a Packer. If you want to come back and play, obviously the door is wide open. When I came out of the darkness, something changed. I'm not exactly sure what that was, but something changed. I got back to my phone after 5 days off of it. I realized that there'd been a little bit of a shift. I heard from multiple people that I trust around the league, players mostly, that there was some shopping going on. They were interested in actually moving me. And at this point, I got to admit, I went in the darkness, 90% retiring, 10% playing. My mind was, I'm tired of this. I hadn't got back into my workouts yet, and I thought that was what was best for me. So I went in the darkness to contemplate a lot of different things, but one day I spent entirely on the reality I was retired, and one day I spent entirely on the reality that I was coming back and playing. When I came out, it was clear to me at that point that although the Packers were going to say the right thing publicly, that they were ready to move on. I don't know what changed that or what moved that. If they just said, hey, we need to make a decision here because he hasn't made a decision yet. Again, there's no victims here. I'm not sitting here as a victim. I love Green Bay. I love the fan base. They're incredible. I live for playing for them. A lot of love for the organization. I just think I wish that in the beginning of the offseason, that had been the conversation. This is a credible profession, but it's a tough business.
You've said that for a long time.
Some of these issues were things I was talking about 2 years ago. It was, how do we treat older players on the way out? And it's ironic that now I'm that player, but I think that's the beauty in life, is the sense of humor that the universe has. No malice, no bitterness towards the Packers. So I've shifted my focus to entertaining what the plane would look like. The Packers granted, obviously, permission for the Jets to come out and visit. We had a nice visit. At this point, as I sit here, I think since Friday, I made it clear that my intention was to play, and my intention was to play for the New York Jets.
Okay.
I haven't been holding anything up at this point. It's been compensation that the Packers are trying to get for me, kind of digging their heels in. So I would just, I think it is interesting at this point to step back and look at the whole picture. My side, love and appreciation, gratitude for everything that Green Bay has done for me. So much love and gratitude, and just heart open for the Packer fans. And what it's meant to be their quarterback. And also the reality of the situation. Like, it is what it is. Packers would like to move on. They've let me know that in so many words. Because I still have that fire, and I want to play, and I would like to play in New York. It's just a matter of getting that done at this point.
Okay, people in New York are doing this right now. People in New York are pumped right now. You sent a list of demands. Need you to sign Lazard. You need to sign Randall Cobb. I want Jordy Nelson out of the fucking ranch. Did that all happen?
It's so ridiculous.
Hey, that's happening, though. Like, you need to know.
Ask Schefter what I texted him when he somehow got my number and texted me. I didn't respond to Diana Rossini, I think her name is. I would say the same thing that I told Schefter. Lose my number. Nice try.
Schefter tweeted the photo. He said, Aaron did not lie. There it is. That's confirming. Lose my number. Good try, though.
I'll speak for myself. I'm sure there'll be people that have their sources. From what I've seen, it's like I had a sheet of paper when I met with the Jets, and I said, sign these people. And that's not the reality. It's so stupid to think that I would do it, number one. Now, did they ask me about certain guys that I played with over years? Of course. Did I talk glowingly about teammates that I love? Yeah, why wouldn't you?
Sue me, don't actually.
Like, my only demand is for transparency. And if you say some bullshit, sometimes it's not even worth it. But like I said, when something gets out there and then assumed to be true, then it can take on a life of its own. It can go from, there was a conversation about 20 different players to, he wants these guys to be signed, otherwise he doesn't want to come. It's like, come on, what are we talking about?
Yeah, it's all in the delivery of the information.
And I'm just really, really thankful. I got to be the starting quarterback of the Packers for 15 years. I got to be in an organization for 18 years. 18 years, that's a teenager. That's becoming an adult. And that's what I did there, and it was because of the people I met there and the places I went and the times that I had. I love you, Green Bay. Thank you. And I'm as sad as some of you are, but we'll meet again.
Massive show yesterday. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everybody.
And that says that the peak concurrence for 496, 285, but I've seen a lot of photos from people that are 498.
Wrong.
Nonetheless, felt like afterwards, looking back on it, everybody was hanging out with us yesterday. Obviously not because of us. We know that. But Aaron, what a dog, dude. Welcome back to the program. From what we've been told, we have the audio issue fixed. AJ Hawk to my left.
Yeah.
The toxic table is here. One half of the hammer, Dahn. Cowboys is here. A 14-year NFL corner is here. And ladies and gentlemen, it is time. AJ, this is a big deal. I'm actually giddy for this, AJ.
Hell yeah.
You hear me?
Yes, I cannot wait to see what it is.
We have a new segment that we are about to debut.
B block. This is B block. Okay, good.
Yeah, this will be C.5, but then we also have to take 2 breaks for audio issues. So you carry the 1 and the 2. This is the F- block, and that is not a grade that we're giving on it because this is certainly going to be an A+ situation. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for Boston Connor presenting a future Hall of Famer.
Thank you guys. Thank you guys.
Atta baby Connor!
You guys are too kind to me. You guys are too kind to me. Thank you for having me in the Thunderdome, Pat. It's a real privilege to be standing up here.
Yeah, you're here every day. It's great to have you.
Never stand up here, so it kind of is a little different. But guys, can you close your eyes for a second? Okay. I want you to think about. AJ, close your eyes. I see you.
Yep.
Thank you.
They're closed.
I want you to think about maybe one of these rookie quarterbacks coming in this year, right? Okay. Goes on a pretty good team, Hall of Fame running back, Hall of Fame wide receiver, and let's just say they go 3-13.
Okay.
He ends up throwing 26 interceptions. Let's just throw out some words here right off the top of the head. What would we say about this guy? 26 interceptions, 3-13, Hall of Fame running back and wide receiver.
This guy sucks.
Stinks.
This guy stinks. Sure, that sucks, stinks. Pac-Man, anything. Sucks. Okay, times 2. Diggs, you got anything for me?
Stinks, man.
You stinks, man. AJ?
He's gritty.
Is that mic on?
He's gritty. I hope so. Is it on?
That sounds a lot better.
Okay, it sounds better now. Okay, well, guess what, guys? You just said Peyton Manning sucks.
What?
All you guys just said Peyton Manning stinks and he sucks.
I didn't.
How do you feel about that?
No, that wasn't the hypothetical person I had in my head.
Well, guess what? That's exactly what Peyton Manning did.
No, I had Anthony Richardson in my head, and he came to Jonathan Taylor's team,
Yeah.
and we signed a Hall of Fame wide receiver,
Sure.
and we went 3-13, maybe 3-14. I said, well, we would have to say this guy sucks potentially.
That's right, and we would have had to say that about Peyton Manning in 1998.
Don't love it.
Because he had Marvin Harrison and he had Marshall Falk, and what did he do?
He stunk.
He stunk. He went 3-13, and he had 26 interceptions. So let's just put that into perspective now. And, I'm not going to say maybe the Colts had the greatest coach of all time, because if they did, then it would probably be amplified by 10.
About how bad he stinks?
About how bad he stinks, right?
Yeah.
But here we are with Mac Jones, okay? This guy goes 10-7 in his rookie year. Goes to the playoffs in his rookie year. Second year, sure, he falls off a cliff. And when I say falls off a cliff, the guy, he had still more touchdowns than interceptions, still had worse weapons, still had a fat stooge as his offensive coordinator, missed him. But you understand what I'm saying here.
Sure.
Okay? Peyton Manning had the same offensive coordinator for the first 10 years of his career. Tom Moore,
Brother,
sure. Yeah.
Still coaching. Backed up Johnny Unitas.
That's right. He's 88 years old. But Peyton Manning had it for 10 years. Josh Allen, everyone loves him now. But it took him a little bit, okay? He didn't even start his rookie year. Huh? You remember this? Ryan Fitzmagic started. He actually got to sit behind the guy and watch. Mac Jones, he didn't have any of these nice things at his disposal, okay? What Mac Jones had was a coach who's a defensive guy who put a little too much trust in the guy who orders for him at Denny's, okay? And that is what happened with the Patriots this year. He came in and he took a step back. Sophomore slump, as they say. But what were we saying about Trevor Lawrence 2 years ago when Mac Jones was the guy? Trevor Lawrence fucking stinks. But what happened? What changed?
They fired that coach. He was sticking fingies in bungholes.
Bingo.
Allegedly.
Well,
not allegedly.
Actually, yeah.
Documented.
Documented.
Right.
We've actually seen the clips.
Alleged photo.
Alleged photo video, actually.
Alleged video.
It was alleged that he sniffed his fingers right after this.
That's what you alleged.
That's what is alleged.
That's what you guys alleged.
It happening is not alleged.
You weren't the only people that alleged it.
No, a lot of people did. AJ allegedly has been to this chop house. AJ?
What exactly is this segment?
Can you just shut up?
I'm just trying to figure it out. But yeah, continue. I have not been to that chop house, but I've been to the other. There's 2 locations.
Okay, so not alleged. AJ has not been to that chop house. AJ, I'm glad you asked that question. The segment is talking about why Mac Jones is a future Hall of Famer. Okay?
The fuck out of here.
Pac-Man, excuse me. I'm going to come over here now.
Sell us on this. You can sell us, Conrad.
All right, I'll tell you right now. Rookie year. Okay, let's see. I'm going to break this down maybe like a guy on ESPN might, okay? Look at this guy. Standing back here all alone. This is a quarterback right here, AJ. Okay? I'm not going to hit the screen, but this is a quarterback. This is against a 5-4 Browns team with Baker Mayfield, who was good at the time. Okay, at this point, this is still, you can see, Week 10, Mac Jones rookie year. This is only his 10th game. Fox, can you run the tape, please? Let's see what Mac does here. Oh, I don't know. Slips the ball right in between a safety and a corner. I mean, what is that? Is that an all? Fox, can you rewind this play, please? Here we go. We got this
That is
replay.
a dumb-ass decision.
Dumbass decision, or put the ball where only his guy can get it, Pac-Man? You tell me.
Dumb decision.
Put the ball only where his guy can get it. And if you can actually notice who catches this ball, Kendrick Bourne. Probably Mac Jones' #1 weapon his rookie year.
Mm-hmm.
Fats McGee, second year, comes in, new OC, and he says, we're not going to play Kendrick Bourne anymore.
Who?
Okay? Matt Patricia. And unfortunately that came back to bite him in the ass. But that's just one of the great plays that Mac Jones made. And sure, this is a 1 o'clock game. Okay? This isn't prime time.
Sure.
So who knows?
Yeah,
Does this kid have the cojones to stand on the football field, maybe down 7-0 in a playoff game? Fox, could you play the next play, please?
Oh, the lights are on here.
This is Buffalo Bills. Lights are on. It's cold out. If you can see right here, Mac Jones, this black clothing underneath his uniform, that's actually a scuba suit. And not a lot of guys like to do this. Jimmy G, he won a Super Bowl as a backup. And Tom Brady, they do it. Are they good at football? Yeah.
I'd say.
Yeah. I'm thinking they're pretty good at football. Fox, why don't you run this clip? 3rd and 10, need it. This is the playoffs, trying to answer us. Oh, he's not just a white guy who can throw the football. He's got a little wiggle. How pissed would you be as a defensive back? You do your job, and all of a sudden, a white guy in a scuba suit, skirts for 14 yards and gets a first down in a playoff game. How pissed would you be? Would you be looking at the D-line and the linebackers? Boys, what are we doing? This guy sucks.
With a knee brace.
He's got a knee brace on, yeah. How did this just happen? What would you say, Pac-Man?
Fuck.
Bingo.
No bull.
That's what Mac Jones does.
He
makes
led the
DBs
victory
say,
in this
fuck.
game, did he?
So next play, he throws an interception to Micah Hyde down the left sideline. But we can all agree that was an unbelievable play by Micah Hyde.
Yeah, it was.
That was the
Yeah, it
right
was.
decision by Mac Jones. Unbelievable play. That's going to happen sometimes. It happened to Peyton Manning 26 times in his rookie year. And this is Mac Jones' rookie year. And, guess what? Second year didn't work out well. We all know that, okay? We have hindsight. Bless you. We have hindsight. We know that Mac Jones wasn't a great quarterback this past year. But a lot of stuff was going on. He had an offensive coordinator who wasn't good at football.
Right.
He doesn't know offensive football.
Right.
He had, his best weapon sitting on the bench
What?
because maybe he made a fat joke.
What?
Okay? Or maybe he did something in the locker room that some people didn't like. But guess who did like it? Mac Jones. And also maybe Bailey Zappi came in and played very well, which is probably the worst case scenario. But let's remember, he beat the Lions 29-0.
Okay.
Who cares?
Yeah.
And then he beat, some other shitty team the week after. I can't even remember because of how much shit we've talked about Mac Jones over these past couple weeks. Fox, let's run this last clip here. This is Thanksgiving. And if you check down here below the scores, once again, Minnesota comes out, and what do? They walk right down.
Yeah.
On Bill Belichick's defense.
On Bill Belichick's defense, and they score a touchdown. Thanksgiving night, Mac Jones might be thinking about eating cookies and, eating some turkey, maybe some apple pie. What do you eat at Thanksgiving, Pac-Man?
They lost this game.
Hold on. You're burying the lead, Pac-Man. AJ, what do you eat at Thanksgiving?
I do eat turkey.
Maybe he's thinking about turkey. Fox,
Stuffing.
Stuffing. Fox, let's run this play. Can you
Certainly
stop
not
it once he gets the ball? Stop it. Can
Definitely
you stop
mashed
it?
potatoes.
Look where Mac Jones is looking over here. You see this? Pac-Man, you might not know this. This is called manipulating the defense. So when the quarterback gets the ball, he wants to look to the right where he's not throwing the ball to maybe make the safeties move somewhere. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
So you're picking up what I'm putting down. I'm glad I taught you something. You can play it from here. He's looking right. Oh, but where's he throwing it? Back to the middle to Nelson Aguilar, who, if you recall, was the guy that was made fun of.
Yeah.
And this was right after a man caught children outside of a window.
Yeah.
Burning.
Unlike
Aguilar is what he said.
Mm-hmm.
And this is basically Mac Jones' #1 target. Now, I don't know if you guys remember when Josh Allen took a huge step, when Tua Tagovailoa took a huge step. You guys know what happened to both of those people? What was that?
It's Stephon Diggs and Tyreek Hill.
Boom. And Mac Jones is out here throwing to freaking Nelson Aguilar. Okay? So we're going to say this guy stinks when his offensive coordinator never done anything. And Nelson Aguilar, who is, 4 years removed from being called a bum, is his #1 weapon. Okay, Pac-Man? And yes, we did go on to lose this game on a controversial call that Hunter Henry didn't catch a ball, even though he caught it and it was a touchdown. They decided to call it not a touchdown. But, again, neither here nor there. And, the Vikings would also go on to lose at home in the playoffs. So things happen in a football season. But what I'm saying is Mac Jones clearly has not been lucky in his first 2 years. Yeah, maybe he was lucky that he went to Alabama and won a national championship and had one of the most efficient careers / senior years in the history of college football. How long has college football been played?
That doesn't matter.
Long time. Okay, thank you. So he's very accurate. Okay, this guy is an accurate quarterback. He can clearly manipulate defenses, as you just saw, and he knows where to put the football. Now, the biggest, problem at the moment with the Patriots is that they don't have a Stephon Diggs or a Tyreek Hill.
They don't.
They don't have the luxury of having the same offense for Mac Jones like Peyton Manning did, where he took all these steps, like Josh Allen did with Brian Dable, where he took all these steps forward because they were in the same system. Now, Mac Jones has the luxury of Bill O'Brien and Bill Belichick. And sure, maybe they're still a guy or two away. But what happens if this year, I don't know. What happens, Aaron Rodgers goes to the Jets. Sure, it's a system he knows, but it's a new city, new place, New York, a lot of ayahuasca in New York City. What happens if they don't do great?
What?
What happens if the Dolphins come out and maybe everything we're talking about, like Tua getting hurt and then Mike White coming in, and maybe Mike White, maybe he's great.
That's wishing an injury.
Not wishing, I'm saying maybe.
What if?
What if?
This is what ifs.
Just like last season.
What ifs?
What if these things were to happen? Okay, because guess what? The Patriots, the song is out. The Patriots aren't going to be good at football this year. Okay? We're going to say that.
What's the song? The Patriots stink at football. 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 The Patriots stink at football. And we're all pretty fucking pumped.
Exactly. But,
That's the song.
That's the song we're all singing right now. And I don't like it. No, I don't like it one bit.
No, you don't.
That's because I'm a Patriots fan. AJ, do you like it?
I'm not sure. I'm just wondering, though. Okay, Mac Jones is a potential Hall of Famer eventually. Are the Patriots going to be any better next year, though, as a team?
Thank you for asking that question, AJ. See, that's why you're a Ryder Cup champion. Because you know exactly where the ball's going.
Yeah.
You. Patriots as a team are going to be much better. And let me explain to you why. One, Ramondre Stevenson, our best player, running back. Unbelievable. The Ramondre Stevenson is no longer splitting carries with Damian Harris.
Okay, good.
3 down running back, Pat. We talk about stables all the time. He's 3 down back. This guy ain't coming off the field.
Only need one horse.
Only one horse. Number 2, we brought in a couple veteran O-linemen. Yeah, maybe they have tens of thousands of miles on their knees and legs and hips, but they know how to block the guy on the other side of the football.
Yeah, they do.
And what else could you really ask for?
You're right.
Aside from that. And the last thing is Bill O'Brien, okay? I don't think we understand how huge it is that Bill O'Brien, who is in the New England system, who knows the McDaniels offense that Mac Jones was so successful with, and also knows the Alabama offense. And, now that I'm saying it, guess who taught Bill O'Brien the Alabama offense? Pat?
Mac Jones.
Mac Jones taught him it.
McCorkle.
Mac freaking Jones taught him that offense. So, sure, we can go into this offseason and we can go into next season and we can say, who cares about the Patriots? Fuck them. We can sing the song if we want to.
Patriots stink at football. Yeah, that's the song.
We can sing the song. But until that ball snaps, gentlemen, we're going to have no idea how this team
You're
works.
right. Thank you.
And Mac Jones is going to pick apart defenses, and you guys are going to be singing a different song.
Mac Jones doesn't stink at football. It's actually
a Hall of Famer.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Can I see the stick?
Well done.
Nope. Sorry.
How do you compare Mac Jones' first 3 years with Peyton Manning, the fucking GOAT of football, bro?
First 2 years, and
it doesn't matter. Like, he 98, 99, 2000. He was third team NFL passing 2000. 2000, he was NFL touchdown leader.
Boom. That's what I'm saying.
What else he got?
That's what I'm saying.
Third year.
You're suggesting?
1999, second year.
Yep.
Second team.
Yep.
2000, second team.
Which is what Mac Jones is going into. I agree.
Mac Jones don't have shit.
Yeah, not right now. But that's because we can only go off the body of work he's had. And guess what, Pac-Man? Sure, 2000, he was great. And he was good in 1999. They went 13-3.
Connor,
What did they do in the playoffs?
You got to listen to the guy that's always on the show. Aaron Rodgers always say, we're living through transparency. Huh?
What's that mean?
Look at this.
Yeah.
Look at this shit right here.
Exactly. Took a step back.
You went back 2 fucking years to find them highlights that you just pulled up, which was his, first and second year.
Nice little run.
All right, so I'm even giving you last year and the year before that.
Look at this.
That's all he has.
That's
all he has.
But look, he goes
going
from
into his
16th to the
third
20th, 15th to the 32nd, 19th to 33rd. Holy shit.
And this goes to my point about Matt Patricia. This wasn't the same offense. It's impossible to take a step forward in an offense if you completely change the entire thing. And that's why you see those numbers. Another thing is he got hurt. He was out for 3-4 weeks, and he tried to come back too early, and that's when the whole Bears debacle happened with Bailey Zappi. And, there are reports about Bailey Zappi, a lot of teammates having support for him. Devin McCourty talked about this. They didn't have support, but at times they would go into practice. Zappi would look great, and Mac still wasn't, ready to come back from his injury. Hey, let's go with Zappi. The next day, they might come back in practice, and Mac Jones plays great. It's like, okay, now we go with Mac. I don't think last year was a very good representation of how the New England Patriots have worked over the past 25 years. Not only like the offense and being 8-9, but even the small shit on like special teams that we see, even like the situational football.
It was bad.
It was bad.
He can't read the fucking defense. Like, he had that one play that was in switch. AJ, did you see the other ball they threw the post on and covered 3? That ball should never fucking go there.
You're talking about
it was a bit of a risky throw. I would agree on that one.
But it ended up being good.
You know how many go back in the meeting room and say, "Hey, fuck, don't throw that ball no more."
You just spit out stats about Peyton Manning. You know how many throws like this he probably had that Marvin Harrison
never
caught?
Throw that ball.
But he did, and it was a touchdown. So when we look at those stats that we just had up, do they support those stats or no? They don't.
They don't.
What you're saying.
They do not support those stats.
But yet
more picks.
But we're pointing to these stats as if they're, the holy grail, and this explains the story of Mac Jones is those stats. But then we show one of his good stats, and we're saying it doesn't support it.
All right, I'm excited to see what happens to old Mac Jones.
Me too.
Yeah, Bill gonna trade him.
Allegedly that
if
was
he's
happening.
not good. I mean, this is the last year before they can pick up his 5th-year option. So
AJ, it is Mac Jones is going to be talked about obviously because he fell in the draft. Remember, he was supposed to go 3 overall. We all thought until day of the draft. Then Trey Lance goes, and then all of a sudden, Mac Jones is now a New England Patriot. And Bill Belichick goes, Matt Patricia, you like him? And Mac goes, yeah. And Bill was going, you're going to be offensive coordinator 2 years from now.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and make sure you like him. It is tough to judge because of how inefficient the offense it looked. I mean, in the stories we heard about, Mac Jones would ask questions in the middle of the week. Be like, hey, what happens if they show us this? And Joe Judge and Patricia would say, stop asking so many questions.
Come on.
And then in the game, that situation would pop up.
Yeah.
He'd say, hey, what are we supposed to do now? And they go, oh, let's figure it out. It's like, well, we could have had this a couple days ago.
A while ago.
And we would have had it figured out. So that was an alleged story. We don't know, but a classic clusterfuck up there all last season. And it's led us all to have the conversation of, has Bill Belichick lost it? Because he's the one that put Matt Patricia and Joe Judge in charge to begin with, AJ.
I don't know, but I mean, so we're talking about Bill O'Brien. I've heard Con Man say many disparaging things about Bill O'Brien in the past, but now all of a sudden he's back as the
Bill
coordinator.
O'Brien?
Bill O'Brien is the savior.
What did I say disparaging about Billy O'Stooge in Houston?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I mean, that is a much different situation. If Bill O'Brien was the new head coach, then that would be a different situation. But we got Tea Kettle Bill. We got Teapot Bill from Man in the Arena with Tom Brady. This is just offensive.
This is where he's supposed to be. Okay, he's just so you think that's where he should be?
Yes.
Offensive coordinator, call the plays.
Well, when he was at Houston, he was the head coach, the GM, the lead counsel,
right? Contract negotiator.
Yeah, that falls. I think into that. Then he was also in the equipment room. I think.
Yeah,
strength and conditioning.
I think he was
Tank
training
Dangles.
coach. He was. Yes, you're right. I think he was also the Spirit. No, that was the Easter Bee.
Yeah, lead
you're
counsel.
Right. Game day media, though. I mean, all that kind of stuff.
He had every job by the end of it.
He did.
Yeah.
And now he just goes to Alabama. They don't win an Natty.
Coach's rehab.
And then he's back up in New England doing the same old, same old. I hope it works out for Bill. Much happier life whenever football's going good than whenever it's going bad.
Yeah, absolutely.
Bill O'Brien's coming home. I mean, he's from Massachusetts, went to school in Massachusetts. It's going to be a nice little reunion in New England.
Oh, he's a nice little Irish boy from Mass.
Yeah.
I actually like Bill, so this mean a lot if it don't work out.
Yes, exactly. This is a big time prove it year. Because if he does stink this year, Mac, they're not going to pick up his 5th-year option. They'll probably try to trade him, and if they can't trade him, they'll probably draft a quarterback, or they'll make a run at one of the free agents.
Y'all in a tough division, though.
Yes,
Very
especially
tough.
with Aaron Rodgers going over there right
better.
now. Everything the Miami Dolphins are doing. Any update on what Aaron's up to? I know he got those rocks yesterday.
I don't know. Hopefully some more. I did not talk to him, but I'm hoping someone showed him the clip, and I'm hoping he takes us up on our advice.
There's a chance that I got a text message from somebody very close to the situation that said, "You guys are absurd," pretty much.
Yeah.
Guy can't even buy some rocks. You know what I mean? Can't even do the thing.
Yeah.
I believe there's a full moon tonight, so it's big rock.
Wow.
Yeah, that's how you energize them. Yeah.
it's
Charge him up. Charge him up.
Are you howling too? I don't know. I've looked into the whole rock game a little bit.
Yeah. You have to for them to work.
Yeah.
I don't know what everybody else's howl sounds like to other wolves, but I do know that the one half wolf, half dog thing that I was around, I howled. I had maybe the fucking hardest howl in the history of town.
Hell yeah.
Diablo, the half wolf dog, put
Why?
his paws on my shoulders and wanted to fuck me. So
Nice.
I don't know what you guys got going on, but I know that my howl, that really gets the wolves
Pretty
going.
good. Mating call, if you will.
Don't love it.
Sure.
Amateur Bennett 1 under. The
Yeah,
amateurs,
dude, birdie's the first hole.
that's awesome. Comes out and says,
I believe he is the amateur. If you win the amateur, you play with the Masters champion. I believe he's playing with Scotty, if I am correct.
yes, he's in the Scotty group that teed off at 136 was their, or 126. Not only full moon, I believe it's a pink moon as well.
What?
Oh, that
April 6th,
baby.
pink moon, 1234. Okay.
You got a flower moon in the middle of the day?
What's that all about?
How does that work?
What's a buck moon?
That's when you know what that is. That's
Keep going.
Duck if you buck.
yeah, crime mob. And then get a fish the next one. You know what I mean?
That'll be sweet.
And sturgeon moon's real bright.
Oh, yeah.
If I do recall the last sturgeon moon we had, real bright. I don't know what 2:31 p.m. is going to look like. The blue moon, though?
Wow.
You see the blue moon.
Yeah, once in a blue moon.
Yeah, that's every once in a blue moon.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
What is a blue moon? I assume the amount of time in between them is a recorded amount of time.
Has to be.
Because it says once in a blue moon, so you would expect that.
That's where the phrase comes from.
Yeah, was it like 4 months? Is it 4 years? 3 months?
I thought it'd be like 10 years. If everyone says once in a blue moon.
Yeah, but I mean, it just popped up. The first time we looked into some moons, it's popped up in the.
Allegedly, it is a second full moon in a calendar month.
Okay.
So how often does that happen? Do we know?
Once every 2.5 years.
2.5 years. All right, once in a blue moon coming up.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. How about it, AJ? We got a blue moon.
We're so lucky. Everything's looking great for us now, huh?
It is. I bet on Scooty Scheffler, Justin Thomas, John Rahm to win this thing. Thomas 1 under. John Rahm goes double to start it and then gets hot for the rest of it.
Hell yeah.
And Scoot, how's he doing?
After one?
Did he birdie one or no?
Good question.
The amateur dunk on him.
Did you see the cabin that the amateurs all sleep in at least one night of the Masters tournament up there?
Oh, yeah.
That was sweet.
They released.
Don't they sleep up in the thing? It's like up in the clubhouse up top, right?
Yeah, only I read into it. Only one night of the week they stay in there. It's just like a tradition to kind of at this point, like just kind of keep it alive. From what I've heard, Tiger, Phil, everybody has stayed in there, and it's still preserved the exact same way.
It looks like it.
The size, the bed, everything is the exact same, so they kind of keep it going. There's a nice bathroom in the back there. I don't know if you saw that whole thing.
Hell yeah.
I bet you people blow that thing
Oh,
up.
my God.
It reeks. Just the nerves, after
For sure.
playing in there. But yeah, I think they each sleep in there one night, so I think they're kind of alone, got the whole top of the
Can they
place
bring
or
somebody with them? What if they have a spouse or a partner?
From the pictures that I saw, I don't know if the bed's going to be big enough to share.
This is the master.
Yeah, I'm guessing no.
I think it's a twin bed. Joining us now is a man who
Head
has.
to foot.
What's that?
You can sleep head to foot. But yeah, continue. I know we have a great guest.
Or maybe they could just soak the whole night.
Yeah.
Good.
Just soak them.
Who's going to kick the bed, though?
Well, I don't know if they're Mormon. or
Arnie? Did Arnie used to do that?
Caddy.
So
Gary
no
Player.
rumbling. Yeah.
Gary, yeah.
Gary
It's
Player.
part of his
workout.
Yeah.
Joining us now is a man who I assume knows everything about the Masters as well because his brain is so damn large and he's a massive fan. He's also a massive fan of Bruce Springsteen. I've seen him go into battle on the internet in the name of Bruce Springsteen. It's been a beautiful thing to kind of watch unfold. His fandom and also everybody else that are massive Springsteen fans as he's selling out Madison Square Garden just every single night.
That's right.
Ladies and gentlemen, former general manager, a author, a speaker, a emails news newsletter writer, absolute stallion of a Paisan, Michael Lombardi.
Thank you, Pat. I appreciate it. I know this. If I won the Masters, I would never take the jacket off, and my wardrobe would be centered around everything would match the green jacket. I saw Tom Watson on today, and he had like a blue shirt. It didn't go. Like every shirt I had would go with a green. I would never take the damn thing off.
Yeah, you would have to, you would accessorize. I don't know, other than the current champion, if you're allowed to take your jacket off the land. Are you?
I'd have a replica.
Oh,
I'd have a replica.
All right, that's smart. Lombo, you a big golf fan?
Yeah, I love golf. I don't play golf. I worked for Al Davis. There were two things you couldn't do for Al Davis. You could not smoke a pipe, or you could play golf. If you were in personnel, there's no way you had golf clubs in the back of your car or smoke a pipe. Don't ask me about the pipe. I don't understand it. But there was no golfing. There was like no golfing at all. So no, I don't golf. But I love watching it. I love the whole ambiance of it. I love the Masters. I wish I would walk the course. I would love to do that with my two sons. But I love it, but never do it.
Okay, well, the Masters are obviously taking over the sports world. Also, massive news around the NFL. Cam Newton has come out and said that he'd be okay being a backup, and he listed off like 10 to 11 guys in the NFL that he'd be okay being a backup to and would back up. There's a couple places where if the starter wasn't playing absolutely great, we don't think a conversation would revolve around Cam maybe jumping him. But other places where if the starter starts to struggle a little bit, the locker room, the fans, everybody's potentially going to be like, let's put Cam Newton in there because of the success that Cam Newton has had. I think it's a lot more difficult to be a backup quarterback or pick a backup quarterback that is good for the room than people think. Would you hire Cam Newton to be a backup quarterback if you were in some of these situations? And what are your thoughts on how you handle the entire personal human side of it all with the starting quarterback and the rest of the locker room?
You know, I think I love Cam, and I've spent time around Cam. Cam is a dynamic leader. Cam's an alpha male. When he walks in the room, people are going to follow him. And so that becomes a challenge for the backup quarterback because he's going to create a following. But if I were in Baltimore and I was in this Lamar situation, knowing what I know about where this could end up or where it's going to go, I think I would sign Cam. Now, I understand his arm isn't what it once was, but his leadership, his ability to create a team atmosphere is so powerful. And you don't know if Lamar's going to sign his tender. You've got Tyler Huntley there. I think the one thing I would do with Cam, and this is the most important, Pat, you guys, both you and AJ played, I would be dead honest with them. I'd say, look, if we sign you, we need you to do this, this, and this. We're not asking you to do that, and be straightforward. That's all he wants. And he's right. I mean, look, he should be a backup. If he's willing to be a backup quarterback for a backup quarterback price, he should have a job.
Go ahead, AJ.
Lombo, if you say you were on a team and you were going to bring him in to be your backup, what are the specific things you would tell Cam that you needed him to be?
I'd tell him, look, your ability to lead has to be more in the background. Help the guy become a better leader. We need you to coach the quarterback on the details. When I went to the 49ers in 1984, a long time ago, we had a player named Jack Hacksaw Reynolds, and he wore number 64. And he used to have a box of pencils that he would take with him from one meeting to the next. And he showed Ronnie Lott, and Ronnie would admit this, and he showed Joe Montana, and he showed all those great players what preparation looks like, what it takes to be a great player. And that transformed the 49ers when they signed him, and that became part of their DNA. I would tell Cam that. I would say, Cam, I want you to really, really work hard at making this guy the leader that you are and focus more on him than the team. And let him do that and show him what it takes, because Cam's going to be the first guy in the building and he's going to be the last guy to leave. Show him what it takes to be a great player.
I think also telling him, like, hey, you're allowed to go up to your wide receiver right now and say, hey, I need you 12 yards right here. Like, you're allowed to go. In the NFL, you're allowed to do this. In the NFL, you're allowed to go say to the GM or the coach, hey, I don't want to run this play. I don't like this play. This is not a play that I like. Hey, I like this guy on the field with me. Like, those little things that veteran quarterbacks already know and have gone through and had to maybe do the learning bump in the learning curve. I think those are priceless pieces of information for young quarterbacks. Do you agree from a GM standpoint?
Absolutely. I think, look, we have a hard problem understanding the difference between loyalty and devotion. People want you to be devoted to them and just tell you what you want to hear. That's not loyalty. Loyalty is saying what you need to say. And you need your best players, especially if they work the hardest. Now, if they're just going to come in and not work hard and have an opinion, that's not good. Yeah. But if they're putting the effort in, then you want to welcome their opinion. You need their feedback. Where are we going? What are we doing? How can we get better? What do we need to do to get better? And I think Cam puts his money where his mouth is. He works hard to earn that respect.
Be who you can afford to be. We don't need people, I've had a couple of those players-only meetings, and I assume AJ and Pac-Man would agree with this, where there's some people up there speaking. They're like, we need to start doing this. It's like, bro, we need you to not talk. That's what, hey, we all were
what
thinking,
it's like, Pat? It's like the kids that have Kobe's picture in the wall in their bedroom, right? And they think they want to be like Kobe. But then when you explain to them what Kobe does and who Kobe really is, that they don't even come close to that, then take the poster down. I mean, you can't idolize. Take the goddamn poster down. You can't be Kobe if you're not willing to be here at 4 a.m. to work. You can't be Kobe if you're not willing to do everything possible. If you can't tell me the 10 things that Kobe believes in, then take the poster down.
Everybody wants to be a lion until it comes time to do what lions have to do. That's like the same thing with the Mamba mentality. Everybody wants to think that they have it, and then once they hear what it actually entails, they're like, I
don't have it.
I do not have it. But then some people refuse to believe it. Like, well, I don't have to do it. I do it in my own way. It's like, there is no own way, bro. This is how this shit goes. Not everybody has it. It sounds like Cam Newton could hopefully help some others along the way, which would be great for any organization. Pac-Man has a question for you, Lombo.
Lombo, I got 2 questions for you. My first question is, the Broncos let loose John Elway. Is that a sign of the big dog is in town now? And my second question is, you did say Lamar. Cam said a couple more teams. He did say Cleveland, Justin Fields, who he said he had a relationship with. He also said the Eagles. Which of these teams, besides Baltimore, do you think is a good fit? I don't think the Jets is a good fit.
The first question on John has been transitioning out of the organization for a while. When they hired George Payton, John turned it over to him. So I think John ran his course in Denver, won a Super Bowl with Von Miller, brought a title to the town, what he said he was going to do. So I think he's been phased out, and with the new ownership and with Sean having all the authority, there's really no room for a voice for John, and he doesn't have a relationship with the new owner, Greg Penner. He did with Pat Bowlen when Bowlen was alive and the Bowlen family, but that's long since gone. So I think it was a natural progression. And John's probably at a point in his life where I've won a Super Bowl, I've played in Super Bowls. Why not let me enjoy the fruits of my labor? I think any team that has a young quarterback, that has a 6-back attack like Philadelphia, or now Jalen Hurts doesn't need mentoring, but any team that has a quarterback that needs some mentoring, I think Cleveland would be a great spot for him because it would help Deshaun mentor him. And as Pat said, tell him what he needs to know and what he needs to do. I think Cam, I've been around Cam at the Patriots. Cam is dynamic, and people gravitate towards him. And his work ethic, I think, is misunderstood. He works really hard. It's like people think Zeke Elliott, because he doesn't appear to be in great shape, it doesn't work. Zeke Elliott's a hard worker and a great leader. He may not have the same skill set that he once did, but his work habits help your locker room, and I think Cam's the same way.
Lombo, what about Odell Beckham Jr.? Where do you think he ends up?
I don't know what to make of this. To me, there's the perception and the reality. We haven't seen Odell play since a year ago. It's hard. And, Odell's never been a 16, 17-game starter. I think you got to go back. The 35 touchdowns that he scored his first 3 years in the league were great, but we haven't seen that type of production. I think a lot of this, as you guys know, this is going to come down to how much money is guaranteed and what's the opportunity. Could it be the Jets? Baltimore certainly needs a receiver. They tried to sign Jacoby Myers. They didn't get him. They signed Aguilar on a very cheap contract. So it makes sense. But I think even though it's from a general manager standpoint, I know the name Odell Beckham resonates with everybody. But when you sign him, are you comfortable and sure he's back off of 2 ACLs and he can give you what you hope he can give you? That's the question.
Yeah, I think the workout out in Arizona was hopefully going to answer a lot of those questions. Even Odell at 80%, we'd assume is better than a lot of wide receivers. That's what Eli Manning said literally just yesterday. I'll be pumped to see who brings them in to hopefully boost their team, go on a Super Bowl run. It'll probably also be a team that he thinks could go on a run. I'll be intrigued to hear who he thinks can do that. Maybe the Jets. Tone has a question for you, Lombo.
Going into the Combine and after it, Bryce Young was the favorite to go number 1 overall, and then the Panthers got the number 1 pick, and C.J. Stroud jumped up to the heavy favorite to go number 1 overall. Now today, it's even money for both of them, C.J. Stroud and Bryce Young, to go 1 overall. What are your thoughts on that?
You know, I've been saying it's Bryce Young for the last month. And look, there's one thing about the draft season that we have to be very careful about is there's perception and then there's the tape, right? And so the tape really favors Bryce Young tremendously. Now, I'm fully aware there are not many 5'10", 5'11" quarterbacks that play in the league, but Bryce Young has that it factor. He's unique. His tape is better. If Bryce Young were 6'2", he'd be the first pick easy. If Bryce Young were 6'2", the Bears would have never traded the pick. So I think when they made the move to trade up to get number one, they knew they were taking Bryce Young. The rhetoric became, well, Frank Reich likes big quarterbacks. Look, in all respect to Frank Reich, this is David Tepper's decision. He owns the team. He gave away assets to move up there. He moved up there with the idea to get this unique player. We saw Jim Irsay say it at his press conference. You know, that kid from Alabama looks pretty good. This is not a hard decision. Bryce Young's the best player. I've been saying it for a month. I'm surprised the market's been so slow to react to it. I think that's really the case. I think the other one that I think the market is overinflated is on Anthony Richardson. I think Anthony Richardson's uniquely talented. However, his game tape doesn't match his talent. And I think that anybody thinks he's going in the top 3 should be cautious because I don't think that's going to be the case. If you talk to teams, his talent doesn't match his tape. And you can't draft a guy that early if he's not ready to play right away. If the Colts picked him at 4, he's going to have to sit out the year. The Colts are ready to go 1-15? I don't think so. Wow. So I think you have to be careful. I think last year at this time, Malik Willis was the top 5 quarterback. Yeah, remember that. Malik Willis was going in the top 5 in every mock draft. Sometimes perception rules the day, and that's not true.
Well, Cam Newton would back up Malik Willis, who is not even the current starter for the Tennessee Titans. Maybe he knows something that we don't know. We would assume that Tannehill is going to get moved or something with a new GM and the cap hit, but you're right. There is a bunch of bullshit being floated at this exact moment. You said you've been on Bryce Young for the last month, but you weren't initially, right? And the tape completely changed you.
Yeah, and I think it's the best way to start in player value. I just didn't believe 5'10" could play. I don't want to be a height snob, but I come from the school you need height. But what Bryce Young has is the ability to work his arm and his feet together. And they're in unison. And he's got great rhythm to his play. And his instinct and his eyesight is all over the field. He really sees the game differently. And when you watch the tape, you see different. I always have a perception of a player from TV, but you got to go back and watch it on tape. For example, Michael Mayer, the tight end from Notre Dame, I loved him on TV. Not so much in love with him on the tape when you watch it.
Whoa!
Because he's still a good player.
Bengals was going to pick him.
Player, but I think I think there's some areas where you're concerned about. Like the Washington tight end from Georgia. This is a kid everybody thinks he's just a blocker, but when you watch him on tape,
he jumps
more in the passing game.
Yeah, and he jumps people. He's 6'7" too. I mean, that guy's 6'7". That's
exactly.
That's a 1-on-1.
Remember this. Big guys, it's hard to judge big guys' quickness. Vince Lombardi said this years ago. It's hard to judge big guys' quickness. And so when you get a guy 6'7", you don't see his quickness. You could never see Gronk's quickness, but it's there. And then the other thing is when you're 6'7", you're open even when you're covered.
You're also going to take big shots, too. You got to hope that they remain healthy. I mean, that's just kind of what the tall body, especially in that position, is going to be. Darnell looks like he's a grown-ass man.
Beast.
I can't wait to see who takes him. He's going to go earlier than anybody thinks, you think?
I think so. I mean, because he can play on the line wide, and he can be the move guy. And so you get a player that can do more. I think he impacts the passing game more than he actually does in the run game. I think he's uniquely gifted. Now, and his hands are somewhat inconsistent, but he has good hands. He can play well. He's got to be more consistent catching the football, but I think he's unique.
Ty Schmidt.
Lombo, a lot's been made about the whole Jalen Carter not visiting any teams outside of the top 10. We had Drew Rosenhaus on yesterday, and he basically said, hey, listen, I've been doing this a long time, okay? I'm not going to go in there and set up my guy for failure. But as a former GM, how much of, the top 30 visits and all that kind of stuff, how much of that is bullshit? And then at the end of the day, do you think, all his off-the-field stuff is kind of easier to just sweep away because of how talented he is? And when you were a GM, how difficult is that situation where a guy's talent and his tape maybe jumps off the screen, but it's we have some very serious character issues here?
Yeah, I listened to Drew yesterday. I thought Drew was great. I think what he said about Lamar was true. I think if Lamar had an agent, it would be better. I do agree with what he said. And I think what he's trying to do is strengthen Carter's position in the top 10 by what he said. Now, if I called Drew up and I had a pick in the 17 or 18 and said, Drew, look, I'm going to trade up to 5. I can make this deal. I need Carter to come in. He would let Carter come in because he knows and trusts that you could do that. So a lot of these top 30s some are really serious. Some are just for the perception. Some, we got to get to know the guy because we might have to play against the player. So I think you have to separate what's real and what isn't real. I think Carter's the second best. I think it's Bryce Young and Carter in the draft. Carter's better to me than Will Anderson because he can dominate at 3 technique, 5 technique.
What about his
7.
pro day? What about that pro day?
That worries you. I think the character. Look, the biggest mistake. Some nights I wake up in a cold sweat because of the Warren Sapp draft. We're sitting there in Cleveland, me and Belichick, and we have a chance to pick Warren, and there were misinformation about Warren coming out of the league office in terms of off the field. And I hadn't done enough homework, take full accountability, to really offset the rumors. And so we traded down, made a great trade down, made a bad pick, but made a great trade down. And Warren goes 12 overall to the Bucs and becomes a Hall of Fame player. That you can't have happen. So you've got to dig deep and get your own information.
Can't have it. Lombo's still waking up about it right now. Still to this day worried about it. Connor just learned that Warren Sapp was potentially going to be a New England Patriot.
Yeah, it's a massive bummer, Lombo, but they rebounded with.
Now, we were at Cleveland, Connor. I'm sorry. We were
okay.
at Cleveland. He was going to be a Brown. He should have been a Brown. And we had all the time, but we didn't have the right information. It's nobody's fault but your own. And if you don't do the homework, like if you don't understand the Carter situation completely, that's your own fault. You got to dig deep on that.
Well, who gives a shit about the Browns, Lombo? So, if it was the Patriots, it'd be a bigger deal. Speaking of, I just did this whole entire, 10 minutes, fest, if you will, on why Mac Jones is the guy. Do you think this is his last prove-it year, has to get it done? And how big of it is that he has Bill O'Brien now as an OC?
Well, I think that's huge. But I think this whole notion that Belichick's shopping him is ridiculous, right? So if I call you on the phone and say, hey, look, are you interested in trading for Joe whoever? You'd say, oh, maybe I am, maybe not. That's shopping. If you call me up and say, I'm reading all this crap about Mac Jones. Bill, are you interested in moving him? That's not shopping. So Bill's too smart. If he picks up the phone and calls any team, he knows whoever he calls to ask about Mac Jones, it's going to be in the paper the next day because everybody has their leaks, who they leak to. Everybody does. It's how the business works. So I think it's really a mischaracterization. I don't think they're trying to move him. I think they have to improve their scheme offensively. Their offensive line needs to get better. And I think Mac has to take responsibility for his own lack of leadership last year. He can't be demonstrative and show people that, he's unhappy. He's got to buy in. He's got to be a better team leader than he was last year. I think they both have to work together because he was good as a rookie. He can be good again. I think he clears the case that he has to assume responsibility, just like the Patriots have, by changing what they're doing offensively.
We heard, I don't know who reported it, that he would ask a question to Matt Patricia or Joe Judge during the week. Hey, if this happens, what should we do? And they allegedly said, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. And then it would come, obviously, and they would have no answer, and that's NFL football. Is there validity to that? And, how much should we, really judge him being demonstrative when really he could have been in a terrible situation, potentially, from the outside and maybe from the inside?
I don't dispute that was a bad, but I would say this to any young coach out there is when a player asks you a question, you have to give them the right answer because the player will no longer listen to you if you can't. And then you lose all respect. The player loses all respect for you. And it doesn't matter if you're 18 or 80. You've got to have an answer. When a player comes to you, that's what happens when you steal plays in the NFL. Hey, they're doing this. Let's run this. No. You can't do that. Because if the play breaks down, you can't answer the player on why the play broke down. So I do think there's validity in that conversation because there lies the lack of trust. There goes the ability to really build that cohesive unit. So, but I think Mac has to do a better job of corralling the team and letting the team. Some of those plays, the tackle, the tripping, you can't do that. I mean, this is the NFL. That's important.
Some dirty shit, Lombo. There's some dirty shit that everybody kind of sees.
You can't do that. And your teammates see that.
Yes.
Like that, just because you were on the same team doesn't make it right.
I could see how he could be frustrated there with the situation potentially being the way it is. Clyde Christensen told us that whenever he was coaching for the Colts, obviously, his life was just basically trying to figure out what Peyton's going to ask him. So his phone was on at all times. Peyton's calling 2 a.m. He's going to have either an answer or say, hey, I'll get that right now, always being very transparent. That's the difference between the NFL and college and high school, which goes back to the point about a veteran quarterback being a backup saying, hey, you're allowed to say this, you're allowed to ask this. This is the different game. Hopefully, with Bill O'Brien back in there, that'll all kind of get settled. Pac-Man has the last question for you here, Lumbo.
Lumbo, I heard you talk about tight ends. I want you to think about the Bengals because we are picking the tight end. And my question to you is, we had Kittle on the show the other day. He talked about how he liked to smash the safety when he come down. With the Bengals offense, do we need a guy that can play in the box, that can smash a safety? Because I think we got a three-head monster. And you just said about the kid from Notre Dame, you said he sucked.
You did kind of say that.
No, I think he's a good player. I just had him. Pac, I had him rated too high. I think the key to being successful in the NFL is to substitute without substituting. Okay. That's why the Niners are so good. They can substitute without substitute. So they can make McCaffrey a running back. They can make him a receiver. They can make Kittle a receiver. They make Debo a running back. They can substitute without substitute. And since Cincinnati's always in 11 personnel, they need somebody that can block an edge and control the edge and still impact the passing game. I think it would be dynamic if they got someone like Washington who could do that, because they're going to need to run the football. Because the one thing they have with Tyler Boyd, what people don't realize, a slot receiver and you do, Pac, because you were playing. When you got to be able to block the slot corner in the run game. If you want to run the ball weak side, you got to block the star. Yeah. So you got to have a big guy that can block the star. So if you don't have that, the Bengals do with Tyler Boyd. So I think it gives them an opportunity, because if they're in 11 the way they are, they could really with a tight end that can be effective in the passing game, they could be in 10 too. Yeah. And now you got to defend a one-back run with nobody in the box. I think that becomes harder. That's the key to football. Substitute without substitute. Have multidimensional players so that the defense is always playing a play behind. Uh-oh, they're in 11. No, they're really in 12.
Right.
Uh-oh, they're in 12, but they're really in 10. That's what you got to be able to do.
That's why the Taysom Hill experiment with Sean Payton was so damn electrifying, because defenses were trying to figure out, they're holding up signs. We think there's two. We don't know what the hell he's doing. And then you can't get the right personnel on the field. So you end up having to just be safe pretty much, right? And then they know what you're doing, right?
Right. When AJ, even when AJ came in the league, everything was based on down and distance, right? First down, we're going to be here. Second, now it's all based on personnel groups. Yeah. So when you're looking at a linebacker in the draft, you ask yourself this question: can he play against any personnel group? If he can't, if the answer is no, then his value goes down. If the answer is yes, his value goes up. It's down and distance doesn't matter. First down is third down. Third down is first. It doesn't matter. You got to be able to stay on the field against personnel groupings. That's the game.
Yeah, well, the game is also having a guy like Lombardi come on your show and break it all down. We appreciate the hell out of you, pal.
Yes. I love it, guys. Thanks.
Enjoy the Masters. Who do you got winning? You bet anybody?
You know, I like the Tom Kim guy. I think that the young kid. I'm going to go with a young guy. I like that guy, and I love the fact that I'm hoping that Rory McIlroy can play and get through today. I like to see him win one.
Okay, Brooks is currently Brooks Koepka, fresh off a Live Championship last week, is now.
I like Brooks too.
Yeah.
How does he not win one? He wins all the majors. He's got to win this.
Yeah, well, there's a chance. I mean,
he's up there.
We'll keep our eyes to Augusta, Georgia. Ladies and gentlemen, Michael Lombardi. All right, let's get to a break. On the other side, Connor will be attempting a par 3 in the golf simulator. He will have 4 shots at it. All he has to do is get one on the green.
Let's go.
If he gets one, of course.
Sure. You never know with this sim. I haven't swung a golf club in a long time.
Damn.
Connor gets one on the green out of 5 shots.
Okay. Yes.
We'll give 10 people $500. That and more on the other side of this break. Rounding up the day on the 5 Energy phone line. Lines are packed. We got people from Indiana, Vegas, Kansas, Happy Valley, Wisconsin, Indy, Austin, Illinois, and then another Texas caller. We can't wait to get to everybody. And
we have that many lines?
Yeah. Never get to them all, though. There's people that sit on hold, and then we never get to them, and that's 100% my fault. But sometimes some of the conversations that come from the phone calls are so damn good, that's right. Kind of gets us away.
Bingo.
That's what we're looking for. That's the goal. Can't wait to get to there and to see you in that sim in just moments. Be a friend, tell a friend. This is the Pat McAfee Show. Take 5. Joining us now is a man who might be the largest celebrity in the history of Earth. And I'm not just talking about his size. Obviously, everybody does that. But could you imagine a time when this man walks in public that a bunch of motherfuckers don't say, holy shit, that's Shaquille O'Neal? That has been his life for probably the last 30, 35 years. He's handled it perfectly. This man is a mastermind whenever it comes to business. Obviously, on the court, he's the most dominant player of all time in the history of basketball. 4-time champion of the world, Shaquille O'Neal.
Hello, is Pac-Man there?
Hell yeah.
What's up?
Pac-Man, you know the statute of limitations is up. I can tell the story now. Can I tell it?
Yeah, you can tell the story now.
Hell yeah, Shaq. Welcome to the show. Thank you, Pac. This is great news.
Okay, so remember when Pac-Man had that altercation in the airport? He was really sticking up for me. Pat, I just want to say thank you for always being my bodyguard, and you whooped that dude ass because he was disrespecting me, and nobody knows this story, but I appreciate you very much.
I appreciate you. I've been keeping this secret. I ain't want everybody to know our business.
Hold on, this is Atlanta Airport chicken in hand. Motherfucker, that fight that we both...
Popeyes, yes.
That was the stick up for Shaq?
Yes.
Yes.
What did he say, Shaq? Guy said something to you? What happened?
I don't know. Pac-Man just said, hey, man, you don't talk to Shaq like that, and I just had to get on my plane, and the next thing I know, Pac-Man put them paws on me.
You've sold printers.
What?
Pizza.
What?
Icy Hot.
What?
Insurance with a cartoon.
Yep. Yep.
I mean, you have a prolific Rolodex of business. When did you know that was going to be the case? Because it's inspiring to all of us. I want to let you know that.
I didn't hear what you say. Could you repeat all the stuff that I sell for?
I think there's like 10 more, too. I don't think I listed off all of them.
No, just go ahead one more time.
I think it was printers.
What?
Pizza.
What?
I think it was insurance with a cartoon.
What?
Now there's Novex Biotech GF9. You are a business savant, though. The shoes, obviously, we've all heard all the stories of, oh, your shoes are too expensive. Then you buy into company and say, fuck it, we're going short. When was that like a focus for you, and how did you know that was a gift?
18 years old, I meet Magic Johnson, and he tells me, it's okay to be famous, but at some point you want to start learning about business. First thing I bought was the Dummy's Guide to Starting Your Own Business. It intrigued me a little bit, and I said to myself, okay, I want to be the only big man that's doing that. But in order to be successful in that world, I had to be successful in the other world. So I really had to dominate and really had to win. Are you a supermodel? Because you have the sexiest jawline.
Hell yeah. That's real, Shaq. He's on his GF9, but the other stuff, I think.
You had a quote you said in an interview years ago. You said, like, my thought process begins where normal humans apexes. And I just want to say, did you come up with that on the spot? Do you still say it? Because I actually steal it and use it in real life still sometimes. I always give you credit, though.
Another confession is I wasn't really born. I was found on the train. A lot of people think I'm an alien, and a lot of times these thoughts just come to me. I'll just go outside and these thoughts just come to me. I realized that in order to be the best or to be perceived as the best, you have to have forward thinking. So I just, growing up in a drill sergeant environment, my dad wasn't satisfied with good enough. We had to be damn near perfect. So whenever I score 30 points and, somebody said, oh, he had a dominant game, I said, no, you missed 12 free throws. You should have 42 points. You should have did this. You should have did that. I was always trying to, better myself.
When did you know Kobe was a dude? Was it like immediately upon seeing him, you're like, oh, this is a guy?
Right away. I knew that he wanted to be great. I knew that he was very passionate about the game. And I knew that if something was done he didn't like, he would voice his opinion. Kind of reminds me of Pac-Man. Pac-Man and I have the same relationship. We haven't always seen eye to eye, but the respect is there. Like, hey, Pac-Man, you shouldn't do that. Motherfucker, don't call me that. You're right. So, Pac-Man's my little brother. I'm his older brother. I think the respect factor is way more important than the I like you, I love you factor. We've had many conversations. I love Pac-Man. He loves me. I love Kobe. We had a lot of disagreements, but if I had it all over to do again, I'd probably do it the same way because he pushed me and I pushed him and the respect was there. People always say, oh, well, you didn't like each other. We didn't like each other. If you go back to the first championship, 15,000 people in the arena, about 100 people on the floor. I put my hand up. Who's the first person jumping my arm? Look at it. Look it up. You don't have to be all lovey-dovey all the time. You just have to have respect.
Your last question here as you get back to your rehab. Connor has it for you.
Yeah, Shaq, speaking of that, a lot of
No, I don't want to talk to you. I want to talk to the dude in the fucking cowboy hat. He ain't such dog.
Tone Diggs. He has a gambling show every day he's preparing for right now. Tone loves you too.
Shaq, I appreciate that. You guys on the set, we just talked about the show. You ever say anything just to see if you get Ernie off of his game?
I don't like that question. Back to the other guy.
Cool. Connor is this guy in the other hat.
Awesome.
No, actually, you know what? You guys may think Charles and I are the funniest. Ernie Johnson's the funniest guy on the set.
Punt return to win the game.
Hell yeah.
I don't know if they were trying to kick that ball out of bounds or they were saying, hey, just got to cover a kick. Let's cover a kick. We are a team that practices. We have a good punter. Sure. We got to do our thing. They're on the 32-yard line. He hits a bomb, end over end, right down the middle of the field. Not high enough, certainly far enough. A lot of field to have to defend. One cut, hit the wall, boom. Punter misses, and all of a sudden the New England Patriots, in a game that was 3-3 all the way until there was 8 seconds left in the fucking game.
Oh, yeah.
Win with a punt return, and obviously that's Belichick. Belichick talking about it afterwards, knowing that this is how this game was going to be. The Jets are always a tough team. We're prepared. We're ready. They get a win. They're still in the playoffs. The Jets are almost dead now, with Zach Wilson saying after the game that he does not feel like he's let down the defense.
No.
Have you feel like you let down anybody? No. It moves on.
As an offense, though, I mean, when you guys are only able to score 3 points, the defense only lets up 3 points. I mean, do you feel like you let the defense down at all?
No.
Well, he had 2 yards of offense in the second half. Garrett Wilson, wide receiver for the Jets, rookie, said, hey, that's horseshit.
It's just not okay. I mean, straight up, it's not okay. We had how many total yards we had?
100, a little over 100.
Yeah, that's just not gonna fly. So
Bob Saleh asked about it. He says that's dog shit.
Yeah, it's dog shit.
Zach Wilson says, no,
no,
we'll move on. We'll gritty right through this whole thing. I feel like there's a chance that Zach's about to get packed and move on for the other team, not only because the defense probably heard that and is not happy about it, not only because Bob Saleh has openly said that the offense that he's running is dog shit, but because there's a veteran sitting in that building.
Goddamn right.
That is ready to take over those young bucks and maybe get them on a run. But nonetheless, the Patriots get a win.
A couple weeks ago, we're talking about how the Jets were awesome. You know, they're going to go on and be a good team. They're not. They're terrible. They're 6-4, but they're terrible. Possibly the worst 6-4 team in the history of the NFL.
Jeez,
now, on the Patriots side of things, yeah, sure, we only scored 10 points, and 7 of them came with 10 seconds left in the game, but that was the game plan the entire time. Bill, no.
Get it to the fourth.
Get it to the fourth, be in the game, and then let's just make sure they punt the ball with less than a minute left, and then we'll go down and score and, walk this thing off. And that's exactly what we did.
I've sent some text messages to the Jets building to try to get a heads up on what they were trying to do. Were they trying to have him kick this out of bounds? It doesn't appear as if that was the case. I think it was hey, we need to go cover a kick. Let's go cover a kick. Let's get to overtime here as much as we can because you can't get into field goal range, even though Folk had missed a couple already on the day. We have to be able to flip the field with how much time was left and the Patriots having one timeout and Matt Patricia doing his thing. It's easy to say just kick it out of bounds, but if he kicks it out of bounds at the 35 or the 40 and then they have one timeout and they get in a field goal range and they lose 6-3, there's still going to be a conversation. So until I know what exactly they were thinking and why they were thinking it, that late block. And I appreciate them not calling that.
Mm-hmm. Yes, good no call. I agree because he wasn't going to make the tackle before he scored, so I agree it was a good no call. I see that they tried to claim it was not a block in the back. I believe it was.
Yeah, certainly a block in the back, but the NFL has come out and said, oh, it was from the side or whatever, and I think the NFL has come in to say on the side, like, come on, that guy wasn't going to make the play. None of that really matters. But by the rule book, if we're going to start doing that, let's start making some more common sense calls in games in important fashion. Also, must remember, they're in field goal range there, blocking the back. They're still in field goal range.
Yes.
Nick Folk probably still lose the game.
Today's show is sponsored by the best ticket app on earth and the moon. And that's SeatGeek.
Hell yeah.
To help us get through the offseason, SeatGeek has given us an exclusive link for 10% off any tickets.
Anywhere?
Anywhere.
So anything?
Anything. So that works for NBA,
What?
NHL,
What?
March Madness,
What?
concerts,
What?
maybe the Masters, although I think you have to exclusively go through them to get tickets.
I don't know if SeatGeek has Masters.
I don't know if they do. But whatever you want to buy, SeatGeek's got you covered. No code needed. Just click the link in the description, and the 10% off code will be auto-applied to your account. And it doesn't matter if you've purchased on SeatGeek before.
Shout out to SeatGeek. We appreciate the hell out of them. Obviously, the SeatGeek ticker is there every single day, as is AJ Hawk normally, at least if he's not vacationing. There's one half of the hammer, Dahn, Cowboys Tone Diggs. We have a 14-year NFL corner now, part of the crew every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Adam Pac-Man Jones here. And if you saw there while Ty was reading that glorious SeatGeek ad, you didn't see his toxic table compadre.
No.
Hell yeah.
That's because his toxic table compadre is up there in the skies of the Thunderdome at the golf simulator. He's pointing at the wrong camera. He believes the one to his left is the camera. It's actually the one dead center at the Thunderdome that's normally on a stage shot. There it is. Yeah!
I see.
There it is. Connor's mic'd up there. He is currently lined up right in front of Tiger Woods' Payne Valley 19th hole par 3.
Correct.
Hey.
Now, we don't have access to Augusta National Golf Club. So this particular 19th hole, bonus hole at Paynes Valley, Tiger Woods' course down there in Florida, I believe.
Sure.
It might be in like Missouri.
Wherever
Missouri.
Missouri. Okay, there it is. Missouri. All Connor will have to do, AJ, is just put one ball on the green from 110 yards out of 4. How do you feel about it, AJ?
Ooh, is this an island green as well?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I think he's good. He honestly might put this first one like to 10 feet. I really think so.
Okay, Connor, how do you feel? You've been warming up a little bit. We've been hearing the ball smack into that net. It looks pretty good. It sounded pretty good. How do you feel?
I feel pretty good. I took a couple hacks, and some hit the left side of the screen, so it didn't actually make it. But, you know, we're working through it. 1 out of 4, I should be able to do that.
We were using that front center camera. Now we're using the one directly behind you. Yep, there we go. So we were talking to your back, but we got to hear you perfectly.
Nice.
The hair is flowing fantastically.
Sweet.
Absolutely.
Ty has a couple words of encouragement here before you try to battle this 19th hole at Paynes Valley.
Nice, good tempo, son. Okay, fucking stick this thing on the green. Let's go. You can do it.
Tone Diggs, obviously an avid golfer and a good gambler. What do you have to tell Connor?
Feel the breeze, feel the sun, listen to the birds, feel the earth, the rotation, Coriolis effect. Take it all into effect and then smooth swing.
That's a lot.
Boom, we got a pink moon tonight. It's a full moon. How will that affect this whole thing? We shall see. Pac-Man, you're an avid golfer. What do you have to say to Connor as he attempts a feat to win 10 people $500 at the 19th hole?
Keep your head down, stud.
Okay.
All right. Sounds like you got more than enough information that you would need.
A lot of rotation.
Hit that thing positive. Hit that thing solid. And get it on the green so that 10 people can win $500 on this Masters Thursday, April 6th, 2023. Connor Campbell. 110 yards out.
That's right. That's right.
Doesn't like it. Immediately off. Has to get out of the way of the screen. Into the drink.
It's the furthest I hit the ball the entire time. Are you shitting me?
120 yards.
Juiced up, man. Adrenaline's real.
Okay. This never happened either. Now I'm on the green.
Put the testosterone down,
Just you got to mulligan it, I think. You got to
pick up ball.
Mulligan.
Mulligan.
Nice.
There we go, and we're back. First one didn't even happen.
No.
Now you just got to go 1 of 3, Connor. We learned what you what you did wrong. You pulled that one. What club are you using? 120, pretty far.
Yeah, I'm using a pitch. So
120, not that far. Okay, so.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, every single one I hit before that, it didn't even go close to that far. So I don't know if I was blading all this or.
Double check that distance. I think it might be only 98 yards.
What?
No, Connor hit it 120.
No. 110 is what the yardage they were going for, I believe.
It should say on that top or bottom right corner. It should give you the yardage.
90 yards.
Boom.
Good Lord.
They want to, yeah.
What are you talking about? That thing's been on the screen the whole time. You've been up there for 15 minutes. You just now saw the 90 yards thing?
If Bruce tells me something, I take it as gospel. terrible. So I don't know what you want me to do.
Bruce, do you understand the power you have over this fucking doofus?
Yeah, it might have been a discrepancy between the blue and white tees, something like that. That's on me. That one's honestly on me. I can't be giving the guy the wrong yardage on his way.
Could be
up
the
there.
ball, too. Make sure you have a good ball selected up there.
Well, we only have a couple balls. One of them has already been busted. They are not Titleist Pro Vs. I do not believe they're Bridgestones either. Connor, why don't you go ahead and put this 90-yard shot?
There's tape on my tape slide. I don't know how that happens. What'd you do, Bruce? You're killing me.
All he's got to do is put one on the green here at Paynes Valley, 19th hole, Tiger Woods' course. Oh, how's he like it?
There it is.
Likes it a lot. Just learn to the distance.
We're good.
Congratulations, Connor.
Nice.
We're all very proud of you. Obviously, it was an embarrassing fact that you did not know the proper distance, even though it was literally staring you right in the face every time you stepped into the sim. On this Masters Thursday, Boston Connor was able to win 10 people $500. All you got to do is retweet this tweet, say something nice to somebody, and put the most efficient way to pay you digitally.
Tiger's picking it up.
Back-to-back birdies.
Wait, how many does he have on the day?
Tiger's picking it up.
Only 2. He needs 4.
Is that a bet?
That's a boost.
Well, he might have more than 2. He has 2 in a row, I know.
Correct.
Okay, well, nonetheless, Justin Thomas has a $500,000 camera on a tripod 2 feet behind him as he's in the middle of a fairway.
Can you imagine?
Carrying that thing around Augusta.
Or hitting with it right behind
From what I've heard, it's a lot of this, too. A lot of
looks
this.
like it.
From what I heard, from what they've seen on TV, it's a lot of this. A lot of it never stops. From what I heard, no matter how hungover you are, it does not matter.
Oh, no.
How, that's what I've heard, at
That one
least.
is pured.
Imagine being that good of a golfer. Having the Tiger heartbeat every time you shoot like it's PGA 2K. Justin Thomas rolls one off deep on the green. We'll have to settle for an 80-foot putt for birdie. That's Augusta. That's the Masters. Let's take some phone calls and let's get the fuck out of here. 10 people, $500. Way to go, Connor.
Let's go.
Hey, that was a good shot. That was a really good shot.
Yeah, it was going. I wish I knew going into it was 90 yards, but yeah, you're right.
You should have. It was right there in front
Little
of you.
user error. Yeah, I don't look at the numbers. I just hit the ball.
That's not good golf.
No,
Well, that's a pretty big part of golf.
I'm working on the game. I'm just trying to get my swing down.
Okay, what? All right. Hey, on this particular case, swing was down.
Yeah. Now, next time going forward, I know, hey, let's see how far we are from the hole.
How about how good of a golfer you are, though?
That first swing I was happy about, too.
Could have easily duffed 4 straight there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Easily.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Especially with an island hole like that.
Not easy.
Put one in the water, could have done that again. Could have let that one beat you. Could have had one bad shot turn into 2, which would have led to 3, and then definitely 4, while we would have all been peppering. I mean, it would have been like, oh, this guy's broken. Where's Live Golf for this guy?
Right.
You know, like that type of stuff is what we would have been saying. But no, you fought through that. You're a mental warrior.
Yeah, I bounced back. I didn't even see the water. That's the thing. I just see the hole.
Well, it was a simulator. It was tough to kind of.
That's true. It's virtual.
Let's go to the phones. Let's go to Jake in Happy Valley, Pennsylvania State College. What's going on, Jake?
Hey, how's it going, Pat?
Keep it going, Jake. Hell yeah.
So, no hard feelings, but I'm a student at Penn State, and I know you went to Oregon rather than the whiteout this year.
Yeah, I did.
Why'd you make that?
Yeah, it was your choice.
I said, fuck it, I want to fly 5 hours. That's what I said. I said, you know what? Take me to Oregon. I want to go up to where Belushi's growing tree. I want to go all the way up to Sky Docks. I want to pay however much money that particular plane was. Now, granted, it's getting reimbursed, but still, I want to do that instead of go to Happy Valley. So you got me. You got me, Jake. We missed an electrifying atmosphere. I think West Virginia, though, plays at Penn State first week, Jake. First week.
Yeah, and I remember a couple weeks ago you talking about that and already saying West Virginia's going to go 0-1.
I did not say that, Jake.
You said that?
No.
No,
we did not say that.
You said
Pat
that?
said that we have money and we're doing better. I heard Pat.
Yeah. Thank you, Jake. Jake, come on. What year are you up there at Penn State?
I'm a freshman.
What's your parents went to Penn State?
Yeah, both of my parents.
And then your father's father also went to Penn State?
No.
Oh, just one, first generation. Okay, that's second generation. I mean, you're in there. What did you think about the whole situation that happened with Penn State? I feel like you guys have bounced back, though.
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good with our new quarterback coming in, Drew Allard, Dog.
He was 3 years old.
All those guys. We got a young team that I feel strong.
Appreciate you, Jake. Have a great college experience up there at Penn State, pal.
Oh, yeah.
He might not even know about the history of Penn State.
He definitely does.
Everyone knows.
If his parent, like
It's very culty.
It was a very easy question to ask. Like, oh, your parents went? Yes. Like that's kind of how Penn State is. Is that how every state school is? I don't know. I feel like that's a big Penn State.
I feel yeah, definitely a lot of Big Ten schools.
Is that Ohio State like that?
Not that I know of. No.
So yes.
For real.
Yeah.
That's a dodge for
Too
me.
hard to get in now, man. Too hard.
Oh yeah, you guys got 50,000 students or something like that.
Yeah, I know. And they're all have unbelievable test scores and have 7,000 extracurricular activities. Like you have to do everything now to get in.
Oh really? Ohio State diploma, big deal, means something.
Yeah, it used to be back in the day. It used to be like, oh, if you're from Ohio, yeah, you can go to Ohio State. Now it is absolutely not the case.
Oh, Ohio State kind of turns back on Ohio.
Wow.
Yeah, well, we know the new Ohio.
Is that what happened?
It's all money. Everything's money.
It's a lot, Wexy.
Speaking of money, West Virginia's got a bunch of it now. So good luck.
Yeah, look out.
Why don't you guys just let us join the Big Ten?
I think you guys should be in the Big Ten. I really do.
Why don't you write a letter?
Or the ACC. Those
Okay.
would make.
I'll send a note to General Bob.
ACC.
Make it happen.
I would much rather us go to the Big Ten than the ACC, but the ACC would be better, I think.
Nah, we don't want to be in the ACC.
Better
Not football
chance.
conference.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I think Big Ten, we're in there, we're on TV
Right.
a lot more.
Mhm.
I think we're getting pushed more in trips much quicker, much more efficient. I wonder why that didn't I think you guys didn't want us. I think Big Ten didn't want West Virginia.
Why would they not? It all has to do with whatever bringing in new fan bases.
think
That's
anybody
all.
did
That's the only reason you bring teams in.
No, getting back to the ACC. Let's make the backyard brawl mean something again.
Yeah, but the ACC, I respect the ACC, for what it has built. But don't you automatically just think basketball?
Yeah.
Clemson's won. Listen, Clemson's done their thing. I understand that North Carolina has a guy who's going to be number 2 or number 1 overall pick next year with Drake May. And I have respect for what the head coach presented by Chris Bickle, class of 1993, Narduzzi, 97, and Pitt has been able to accomplish with Kenny Pickett. I do respect the ACC and what they've been able to accomplish. But my immediate thought is just that's a basketball.
Here's the problem.
Yeah.
Here's the problem. Their two oldest kind of football schools, Virginia Tech and Miami, have fallen off so much that you don't even think about them anymore.
Clemson you view as its own institution.
Yeah.
You almost view Clemson as an SEC school that's not in the SEC.
Yes.
And then Florida State, they're
true.
right?
And Virginia Tech, Florida State, Miami. If those programs were still what they were, then yeah, football would
Be
be
different. Yeah.
WVU elevates it though.
Football, I mean,
are we sure?
Hopefully, yeah. I mean, we got money now.
Yeah, true.
Coach Blaine Stewart's down there too.
Good things now.
Huh?
Don't count us out.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Especially we got a Big Ten. That's why you guys don't
got
want us.
easy schedule too, right? We went over their schedule. You guys have a cakewalk.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we only have 4-hour flights every single game. That's away too. That's easy. That's nothing. That is not even. It's like we're fucking Hawaii. All
What
of a
is the
sudden. We're the University of Hawaii.
What is the closest? Kansas?
Yeah.
Missouri.
No, it was SEC, sorry.
Oh yeah, they moved.
That's right.
Kansas.
Everything else.
Kansas or
Texas.
Those are long flights.
Is Cincy
Long
joining?
flights, dude.
Yeah,
Since you joined the
Cincy's in
Big
there
12?
now.
Thank God.
Okay, yeah.
Cincinnati.
Yeah, Cincy. Over this year.
It's a long way though. Kansas State. That's
Yeah, it's a
fucking
haul.
way out there. I mean, it's not way out there if you're already way out there. But if you're fucking in West Virginia, that is way out there. Let alone you got to drive 45 minutes from Morgantown to get to the airport. So just add on another hour on the travel. It's that's every away game. That's not, think about the basketball teams that have to do that. I mean, that's every sport. That's not just the football team has to do it. That's a whole song and dance. Joining us now is a man that could potentially get West Virginia into the Big Ten. This man saved football. He's a general. He's a stud. Bob Carpenter's.
Yeah, Bob.
General, how you doing?
Doing good, man. Just having a beer, enjoying this wonderful day.
We appreciate you doing that. Is that your house right there? You got that big cabin in the back, the big barn?
I wish, man. I'm up in northeastern Ohio, probably not all that far from about the West Virginia line, Pat. So I mean, I can sympathize with you.
Okay, so let's talk about this. Big Ten is obviously bringing in who? USC, UCLA, other schools like that. West Virginia, if West Virginia wanted to come into the Big Ten, do you think that's going to be feasible in the future? And also, would that be something that you, as the general who saved football and saved Big Ten football, something that you would want?
So I took a visit to West Virginia, Pat. I loved it out there. Number one, I think, when you look at the Big Ten, they care a lot about academics. And I don't know how you got in there, but West Virginia is supposed to be a pretty good academic institution.
Oh, yeah.
They championed that up. I mean,
Very good.
There was a lot of people from the East Coast that would travel in. We had cousins from Washington that went there. So I think that checks the box. They've got good football. the regionality, it's a much better fit for the Big Ten than the Big 12. Here's the one thing. I just don't know if they're going to say it justifies enough dollars for media. That's what everything drives. So, I mean, if they can get a sponsorship, from the Pat McAfee Show and get some juice flowing through there, I think that might get it done.
All right, General. We appreciate the hell out of you. Enjoy your beer, pal.
Yeah, boy.
You're the man. You're the man. All right, so there you have it. We're basically in. I don't know about the academic thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I might have went to a different school, which I definitely did.
Might have changed,
and it might have changed a little bit.
I know people.
They got good physical.
They went to high school with it.
Well, there's like an 80% dropout rate. At least there was after your first semester, because you get down there and it's just like so much opportunity.
Party.
Every night we got $2 drinks all your life.
Party.
So there's like an 80% dropout rate, I do believe, your first semester. Like I think that it's an actual stat.
Yeah.
It was back.
I mean, that's pretty high.
A little bit.
80%.
Yeah,
Really?
a lot of people's parents, I think, say like, "I'm not paying for you to do this."
I knew I was out after the first semester. Now, I lasted the whole first year, but I knew after the first semester I can't do this.
This
here.
won't last.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people paying a lot of money, and there's future debt on the line, and a lot of people going, "You have 6 classes, you have 7 Fs. What are you? Why are we doing that?" Well, what do you want me to do? I mean,
trying.
Penny pitchers on Wednesday.
What?
Drink till you drown on Thursday.
What?
And then 5's all you need Friday. I'm like, what am I supposed to do? Classes in there?
When WVU win on Saturday, drink all you could drink, free keg.
And then on Sunday, you're still celebrating what happened on Saturday. And then I guess Monday we can take a break, but how many classes can I put on Monday?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know, because as soon as you get back in there Tuesday, we're right back in it.
Yeah, that's not even, as you've mentioned before, all the house parties in between.
Golly. It was a good time. Did they stop all that?
No. How can they?
I think they demolished one part of the city, to be honest. Like,
Just knock it down?
They actually
Is
did.
it turning corporate? A lot of campuses are turning like pretty corporate.
So, like, one of the houses, I lived on McLean over there by
High
Grant.
Street? You talking about where the frat houses is?
No.
Yeah.
So over in like where the dorms are, that area, what's that called?
Yeah.
So you drive from dorms to downtown.
Right.
That area right there. Mutts used to be there. It used to be where the stadium was. That's actually the original place where the stadium was. Grant Street's there. McLean's there. It used to be massive house party area.
Heritage.
I don't remember I should know what it is. They took it all down though. Bulldozed all the houses pretty much.
Damn.
Put a couple parking garages in there, apartment complexes in there.
Everything's brand new.
They took that entire area out there. So I wonder if it's still like, is it still as heavily?
Pat, I was just there, Pat. They are still going hard.
All right, congrats. Let's go.
Shout out to West.
There you go.
Still some old school.
Hell yeah.
Still got to figure it out over there. I thought they lost their edge. You know what I mean? I didn't know.
That happened.
Because I was watching a football team, and I'm like, seems like this team kind of lost their edge a little bit.
Yeah.
So I just kind of associated that with the entire town. I guess I shouldn't be doing that.
We're going to get it back.
Hell yeah, we are. Let's go.
I hope.
This is the year.
Because if not, man.
Hey.
Everybody don't get to do what Ohio State do, AJ.
What's that?
I'm telling.
What
I
are you
said this
guys
year.
talking about? You guys have money. You
we're
guys
getting
keep
it
saying you
back.
guys have money.
What does Ohio State get to do every year, Pac? Everybody. Everybody.
Yep.
Smacking cheeks.
My bad.
Yeah.
Bopping.
They're paying everybody, AJ. That's how they get the number 5 overall pick to the Green Bay Packers.
How they got it.
Out of Centerville, Ohio. They pay you.
You boys want some
Got to replace the
tattoos?
quarterback.
Yeah, definitely tattoos.
How many tats did you get? You got free tat. That finger tat was
Yeah. 200
That came
grand.
after. That came after college. But you tell you what, Jim Tressel gets caught up in that. You kidding me? Like, and he gets booted because of that whole situation. Like, come on now.
That was crazy to think, though, that guys were selling stuff that they owned in return for some sort of monetary value, the beginning of kind of transactional stuff. And then, can't do it, get out of here. It's like, that's the worst thing that has happened at that program. And that's what he gets. Look at Mangled. He knows what he's looking at there.
Look at him.
You and me both, Fiesta Bowl champs, pal, huh? How about it?
There we go. It's a great place. I love playing out there.
I love Arizona. How many times did you play out there?
3 out of my 4 bowl games.
Damn.
It was a great bowl game.
It's great.
Arizona's the fucking best.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great
Yeah,
state.
it's nice. Pretty nice.
Did you go to Bose?
Did you go to Chef Bo's?
No, I did not go to Chef Bo's. I wasn't aware of him at the the time.
Well, what's your problem? Figure it out.
Read a book.
You were there 3 years in a row, didn't go to Chef Bo's once. You fucking did it wrong. Let's go to Zetch in Indianapolis right here on the 500 phone line. What's going on, Zetch? And is that your name?
How are you doing, boys?
Hey, keep it moving, fella. Is that your name, Zetch?
Yeah, it's short for Zechariah, like the book in the Bible.
Hell yeah.
God bless you. Hell yeah. Zetch, what do you want to talk about?
Yeah, so I was thinking about the young boys coming in this class at quarterback and how Patrick Mahomes didn't know how to read defenses until about 2.5 years into the league. And so I was thinking, who in this draft class do you think has the athleticism and would be in the right spot for scheme to be able to succeed early and then develop into a really good quarterback?
Zetch, that's a great question. I mean, that's a top tier, top of the line question that everybody's trying to figure out at this moment. Patrick Mahomes said that on the shop, I believe, with LeBron James. He said it wasn't until about halfway through this past year he just won a Super Bowl or an MVP. I don't remember. Might have lost in a Super Bowl, won an MVP.
Yeah.
He said that it wasn't until like midway through this season that I started understanding what defenses were doing. Pac, do you know when a quarterback starts understanding what the fuck you guys are doing? Are you trying to take advantage of those that you know don't have a clue of what the defense is showing, like the younger quarterbacks?
Yeah, you definitely know. You can tell because they can't pick up the disguise. And normally when you get the younger guys, you mug the A-gaps and let them guess who coming. So they don't know who coming. Everything look the same. It look like an all-out blitz. And you playing cover 2, cover 3, cover 4, man under. And sometimes you are playing all-out blitz out of it. And you can kind of figure it out from there. Do he know what the fuck he's doing or not?
The quarterback?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a real deal because you can tell as soon as you see something like, you know, and we all see quarterbacks do it, and it's a lot of fun, and it's like, are they really saying anything at that moment? They say, hey, they call it the mic. But then you also see them point at somebody else. That tells the defense, too, I'd assume, that he at least has a clue of what's potentially happening.
Yeah.
But sometimes you can be wrong. Even the vets are wrong at some points. But it is nice, I assume, to play on the defensive side of the ball when you're looking in the eyes of a quarterback that's seeing ghosts, A.J. Hawk.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Anytime you're like in your Wednesday morning install meeting, if you're playing a young quarterback, an inexperienced quarterback, like that's the first thing you talk about. Hey, let's make this dude uncomfortable. Let's make sure we're disguising pre-snap, like Pac said, double A-gap muggers all the time. Keep him confused. Keep the O-lineman confused, and then, hey, prove to us that you are a guy. That's what you're trying to do.
Allegedly, Bryce Young has big-time brain. Allegedly. That's what's being leaked accidentally via Daniel Jeremiah, kind of confirmed on the program the other day. But I think everybody that is at the top of this particular quarterback class, they're saying has good brain activity and good brain function.
Yeah, it feels like a lot of those guys coming out of college now just know schemes and defenses. Maybe not last year, but at least this year.
Didn't Hendon Hooker say he's been watching NFL film for like 2 years or something like that?
Yeah.
That's a big deal, I think.
They're coming in. Like, guys are coming into college.
Some of them learn from video games too, AJ. You know.
Oh yeah.
They put
playing Madden.
They putting clause in video games that you need to watch more film than.
What?
You know, play video games.
Oh, you're talking about okay.
Because everybody can read covers. No, everybody can't.
Yeah, that's true. Like that is. I mean,
has anyone done that where they've taken their for like a pro game, they put their playbook in the game so, hey, your players can get your real calls?
Not a bad. They should be thinking about doing that in Arizona. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think
they did.
How about the pew, 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 shots, guy?
Explosive.
What if he's like, all right, boys, here's the deal. Here's the link. We're all in there live tonight. Kyler's going to play with our offense for this week. Kind of, if anybody has any questions, let's kind of get them all out there. If you're a good player, you want to play as yourself, we'll sub you in, we'll sub you out, get some reps, but we're here to kind of support Kyler and learn the offense together. Not a bad idea.
You know, smart.
Couldn't hurt, right? Why not try it?
Why are you laughing? What's your deal? That's a good idea.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
What are you saying?
Everybody can't read coverage.
Brett Favre.
Kyler Murray cannot.
Yeah.
Brett Favre allegedly.
I don't know about that, but I know.
No, Brett Favre allegedly.
This is real.
Okay, heard the story from numerous people, including Brett Favre's mouth, but still allegedly.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't even know what the fucking nickel defense was until like years and years and years into his career. And then he finally asked somebody, like, they keep saying nickel. Like, what is that? They take one linebacker out, they add another corner in there. That's it?
That's all?
Yeah. Okay. And then he just
Watch
kept it
this.
And watch me go sling this thing.
Yeah.
It's like, but now it's a different level of football. You know, like at this level, you have to. There's so much shit going on, and the amount of time that it requires to learn all that stuff is vast. So for a guy to have a head start with how smart he is a big deal. That's why I think they're trying to figure that out through this whole thing.
Pat, you talked about before when Andrew Luck came in, obviously a big brain guy, but like he was the example of it because you said he comes in, he's making checks at like mini camps and OTAs and stuff that weren't even installed yet.
Yeah, because he wasn't there with us because he was finishing his architectural engineering degree.
Nice. Smart guy.
From Stanford.
Yeah. Smart because he's using it probably,
Not
right?
dumb.
So he gets the iPad. I don't know. He's probably building something right now. He gets the iPad playbook while OTAs are happening with everybody else, and he has photographic memory. He just, okay, I got to learn how to build this fucking building for my final, and then at night while I'm taking a dump, I'm just going to boom, 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 memorize the Indianapolis Colts offensive playbook that Bruce Arians hadn't started at the moment. So his first day, after like 3 weeks of missing OTAs, his first day there, he makes a check to something, and Bruce Arians has to stop the entire thing. Whoa, whoa, whoa. We are not there yet, pal. Like, that is not the thing. We weren't installing that probably for another 3-4 weeks or whatever.
No.
So Andrew already had it kind of figured out. Now, reading defenses, that's a whole different game. I think it takes a lot of reps and disguises, and some people can do it. Some people can't. Those who can tend to win. Let's go to Darren in Las Vegas on the 5. Holy shit.
Darren's a child.
He's in some shit right now.
Darren?
I'm sorry, man. I'll try to keep it moving real quick. I got a comment about the Lamar Jackson situation.
Okay.
Cat.
And
I think it was a human.
it just reminds me of like the Office episode where Michael Scott's trying to negotiate for his contract or his raise. Why can't both sides just reach like a middle ground where they can't guarantee him the contract, but say one team goes up to him and say, we'll give you a contract for $300 million or $250, but we'll only guarantee $240 or $235.
Deal. I think it's
do it. Why aren't they doing it?
Hey, Darren, listen.
Good
Put the
idea.
baby down and fucking fly out to Miami. Let's figure it out. Have a good one, brother. We appreciate you. All right. I think Darren probably meant something else. He just worded it wrong in the moment. He's got a lot going on.
His brain was on the phone, but it wasn't on the phone.
Yeah, his mouth was on the phone. His brain was somewhere else.
That's right.
But, yeah,
Good idea,
I think that's what they're trying to do. You would think. You would hope they're trying to find some sort of
middle ground.
What if DaCosta actually was listening and all of a sudden, holy
Something
fuck, that's what we should do. Call Lamar right now.
Give him more.
Drew Rosenhaus made quite a pitch yesterday.
He did.
That's why he came on the show. We kind of got used a little bit yesterday. That's all right. We got a great conversation.
Great pitch.
Got a great conversation out of it. It wasn't until he started talking that I realized, this is.
Oh, okay.
This is. I understand.
It's a pitch to any future younger people too that may be watching that need an agent.
Hey, listen, this is what I do. I know everybody could do this.
AFC Central.
Got one of my clients out of here. You know, another one of our. I'm looking out for my client. You think I never did a draft before?
Yeah.
That was a moment.
And then he was talking about college and high school. Like, yeah, we can't sign guys in Florida yet. I don't know why. That should
Why
be
you ain't open it up and say that he was your agent?
Who, Drew?
Yeah.
Because we didn't really do any business together. You know what I mean? Like, we never really did any business together. Knew each other, talked to each other, but I wasn't in the middle of a business anything whenever we were together. But I enjoyed talking to him. I enjoyed learning. I tried to pick his brain as much as possible.
It's crazy how much business he's done, too.
35 years of experience, is that what he said?
Mhm.
$7 billion worth of negotiations?
He's got that quarterback. He has like that QB recall. Like he could recall all kinds of stuff. Pack obviously made him talk about the GMs. I think he can do that with like a billion players too.
Well, he also talked about he brought up Darren Waller's podcast and when he does all. It's like he has a lot of players that he has to. If he doesn't say that, he knows that he could potentially offend somebody.
Yeah.
So he always has to be on and working. You know, he was a great asset whenever it came to like learning about the business.
You can tell how long he's been doing it because he referred to the AFC North as the AFC Central, which was a great division, but not there anymore.
Which also might have been a tactic for him, so he could say, "Oh, sue me, sorry." When I came into the NFL, that's what it was. It's just like another little babyface move. Last call here. Let's go to Nick in Kansas, a place that has a couple Big 12 schools, really fucking far away from West Virginia, but beautiful state. What's going on, Nick?
Fuck all those other Kansas schools.
Hell yeah.
Whoa.
Which one's yours? Rock Chalk?
Oh, Ohio State, man, all the way.
Oh, okay. Wow. AJ, you feel good about it? I hope you're happy. This guy just got really upset in Kansas. What do you want?
It's a great question.
What do you want to talk about, Nick?
First and foremost, I just wanted to say congrats to everybody in the office on all the marriages and the kids here recently.
Thank
you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Secondly, my question for AJ, Pat, and Pac-Man is, what was that first moment your rookie year where you were like, holy shit, I'm punting to Devin Hester, or I'm like lining up against Ray Lewis, or like fucking Eddie George or whoever?
Yeah, for me, it was just the first time I seen Robert Mathis jumping rope in the weight room. That was the week after I got drafted. Did a tour of the facility, and I saw Robert Mathis jumping rope, and I said, okay, well, that's a fucking grown-ass.
Yeah.
He had brands all over him. Obviously, he's a Q dog. And, I don't know if it's like the thicker they are, the brand, that means the longer that it was probably on. This thing seemed to poke out of his fucking arm and hit him in the ear whenever he went down, and then his calves both had him. I'm like, this dude's a fucking dog here. And he was. And that was like all right, I got to be an adult here. But I didn't really know what I was doing punting-wise. So every game was a shit show between me and the ball. So I couldn't even really think about who I was kicking to. How about you, Pac? Was there any welcome to the NFL moments at corner? I think you said
Randy
Moss.
Randy, yeah. I need help.
Yeah, that was my welcome. But besides that, like I would say T.O. too, because I played T.O. my second year. But no, I never thought about the game like that. Oh, welcome to the NFL. Fuck you. I earned to be here. I was the top pick.
Hell yeah.
Randy, though, was just a different thing?
Randy was a different guy. Him and T.O. too. Like once Randy got going, like after them first 5 steps, bro, you need help.
Yeah.
Regardless of who you was, you need help. You need a guy over top. If you want to win the game, double Randy.
AJ, what about you? Did anybody hit you right in your cranium and you said, "Oh, that's a heavy bet. That's a heavy head that guy's got"?
Yeah, I don't have like one specific moment, but I definitely remember like my first training camp getting in there, and day one. Back in the day, there's no ramp up period. It's full pads. 2-a-days from day one, from the jump, 3 hours each practice, killing each other. But William Henderson was a fullback, Bonta Leach, another fullback, two absolute monsters on the team, like my first day there, and they're running lead at me day one, 2 seconds after I strapped my helmet on. So, yeah, that's –
How'd you do? How'd you do?
I did all right. I feel like I felt good. Get a couple pops in, like, here we go. All right. These guys both have very heavy heads.
Did you earn the respect of the team, you think? That you knew that was a moment that you had to have too, right? That's a big deal.
It felt good to get up there and take on your first lead or whatever from these guys you've been watching on TV. Yeah,
How'd you do, honestly?
I did all right. I was fine. Yeah, like I didn't get killed, and I came out like, all right, cool. Like after the practice is over, you're good to go.
Talked about it that night in the dorm. You're like, yeah. I mean, I had Leach Ray running his face right through my face. No,
I would never. No. If you I don't know if you know Vonta Leach. That guy's head is gigantic, and he annihilated people.
And you, first day of practice, he was obviously trying you, I assume, yeah? This guy wanted to find out?
I mean, we're just, it's like inside run. So, yeah, everybody's trying.
Number 5 overall? Yeah. Number 5 overall?
Ohio State.
Yeah, that was practice. Big Mike's first year. Big Mike's first year. We came in, we were banging day one, and we did not let up, ever.
I thought he was going to say my welcome to the NFL moments when we played the Eagles, and I was on the sideline, and I realized I wasn't fast enough to cover guys.
Oh, yeah. Healthy scratch.
Yeah, that's what I thought he was going to say. So.
I forgot.
Healthy scratches in football that I know of. But
well there's one I can think of right now off the top of my head.
You got to be not dressed for that to happen, I believe.
You
were considered a scratch.
You were dressed?
Of course.
So available.
No, because that affects stats-wise. Like, there was a game, Vinatieri was dressed, but he never stepped foot on the field. And he had
so no credit?
He had a consecutive scoring streak for games. And then we got blanked by somebody. I think it was like St. Louis. Yeah, it was like St. Louis. I think it was St. Louis. I don't remember exactly who it was. And there was like real conversation like going into the fourth quarter, like, did we just ruin like one of the worst streaks of all time with Vinny? And the answer came back that if he never stepped foot on the field, the game doesn't really count. Didn't even count as him playing. Even though he was dressed, he never stepped foot on the field. And we were never in a position to put him on the field for the rest of the game. But that was like something, stats I think would show that was.
So if you don't punt a ball, like say you're a punter and you have one of those games where you don't punt, Or is that considered a game for you or not?
So I kicked off, so I would always have one. But yes, and I held. But
I know Morstead would happen, right? He'd take a picture next to Drew if he didn't punt. That would happen sometime.
But he held, I think. At this point, he would hold. So he'd be out there for the holding play. So at least step foot on the field. Vinny didn't. He put pads on, got full paycheck. Didn't even
put his helmet on.
Didn't even step foot onto the field. That's how bad we got killed. And they were like, not only did we just get fucking killed, we also just ruined a streak that's gone for like 16 years or something. It was a wild thing. So they had to check all the. Well, he didn't really go on the field, so he didn't technically play.
Doesn't count.
He was just in costume on the sideline. Bro. It's like, wow, wild thing. That happened for you with the Eagles.
Yeah, that's cool.
Just didn't even get a chance.
Sure.
Yeah, sure. Good for you, man.
Did you not play one down, not special teams, nothing?
No, I played.
Oh.
Not enough, though.
Didn't have the juice. So
Definitely not enough. Yeah, definitely not enough. But yeah, I got out there.
Guy got benched. That's a shame. All right, let's get out of here. AJ, we love you. We'll never bench you from this program.
Hell no.
No matter who we're playing.
That's right.
Exactly.
No matter when we're on.
What?
No matter how
Ty
fast.
and Diggs had something.
What did he say?
Oh, mine would have just been when fucking Allstott turned your teeth into dust early in your career. I assume, old NFC Central, same deal. I assume you had a couple of those.
Diggs, you had an idea of when AJ's welcome to the NFL moment was?
No, I meant you guys. You said Diggs, Connor, and Ty all had a special thing today. That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, they were going to do the golf thing, but we did it.
Oh,
Connor stuck it.
Connor did it.
Connor did it.
We did it.
Oh.
Everybody else
But you didn't need backup for Con. You didn't think you could hit it in 5 shots?
Paynes Valley, 19th hole. Island Green.
I mean, that's a bonus hole, pal. Not everybody's just like, you know why it's a bonus hole? Because they don't want to count it for the actual card because it would ruin everybody's day.
Connor kind of cheated, though, because normally people were hammered by that point.
Yeah, well, my first ball almost, hit the basketball court. So I did have to rally a little.
But that happens up there at that sim. Like,
oh, yeah.
You can get into a groove of not hitting well on that sim. I thought that was going to happen to Connor, especially after that first one. And he didn't even know the yardages. What are we doing?
I mean, someone tells me while I'm walking up there, hey, it's 120 yards to the pin. Okay, I'm grabbing the pitch, and I'll see you at the hole.
I said 110, so you didn't even remember what I said.
Well, I had my ears in.
Does Bruce still swing like that?
Bruce is a good golfer.
No, I can on demand, but I retired that swing.
You're not doing another swing?
Yeah, just
another swing change?
Just a normal swing. Back to the first swing.
He's got an MTO swing, made to order, whatever you want. He can do. This guy's hitting it out there, spraying the field. Pac-Man, incredible week, pal.
Attaboy, Pac-Man.
Same to you guys, brother.
We appreciate you. Tone Diggs, what a start so far. Hammer
Dahn
is in 10 minutes or so. What are you guys talking about? Masters? A lot of prop talks on Masters.
Masters, we got MLB, NHL's wrapping up, NBA's wrapping up. Gumpy will have some footy. We'll have it all.
Yeah, a lot of winners.
Big time for the NHL right now because the Boston Bruins are going for the single season all-time win record. So everyone, tune in tonight.
They're still a couple games away, right?
3 games away, 5 left. First one's at home tonight.
So tonight does not matter.
Tonight's a huge deal.
Okay, so don't watch it tonight because it doesn't matter. In a couple games, though, there might be a big-time game.
Definitely will be a big-time game.
Could be, unless you guys just lose it.
Yeah,
That wouldn't make any sense.
Could?
Nope, not this year. 60-11.
Ty, great work this week.
Thanks,
Ty.
Let's wrap it up. Let's wrap it up in a big way tomorrow.
Yeah, let's do it.
Hey, man.
You too, Connor.
Hey, let's go.
Hey, you guys in the back, great work, all right?
Great work today, Pat.
AJ, fantastic stuff out of you today, AJ. You missed Chris Solomon. He was great. Michael Lombardi stopped by. We had a hell of a day. A couple calls on the 5 Energy phone line. A good golf shot. The Masters is happening. Life is good. Be your friend. Tell a friend something nice. We're going to Chef Bo's. Goodbye.